Hello and thank you for joining. My name is TJ. The rounds look confusing, but you know what? Let's do some stuff anyway. We're going to play some Magic here. We've got Standard going on. Still experiencing some of the issues that a lot of places have been experiencing with Standard, but that is just the way that it goes these days. So instead, I'm just going to line it up, get some things entered in, and we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to play some Standard, some Magic, and do some cool stuff. Hello, Debites and Flights. And, oh, no, that's just something that David put in, and I just haven't actually removed it, so I guess it's just kind of existing at the meantime until I come up with something that I find catchier. So, John Monk, lining up with a deck that I have named Blue-White Flash in the Pan, though it is basically a Panharmonicon deck with blue-white, using some of the straightforward, you know, it's really just adding a Eldrazi Displacer, combining that with things like the Drowner of Hope, using the Reflector Mage, things like that. Oh no! Cloudy Big Tiny! Is it worth the drive, maybe? On, like, rare occasions, anything like that? Carl, if you show up, you'll get on camera. I can tell you that. We're just doing exhibition matches at the moment, so if you want to come in and play some Standard, come on in and play some Standard. Okay. Thanks, Time Knight. I appreciate that. But let's go ahead. Let's have some fun. My name's TJ. This is the Geek Fortress stream. We do this 4 times a week. I was gone last Saturday because Dylan, the store owner, was a little bit under the weather, so I was helping out, running things on that side of the store. And then we had Maeve and Justin fill in. And I guess I haven't gone back and watched it, but I hope and I'm told that they did a fine job. And I certainly trust that they did. But now I am back in the saddle that I know so well. And it's going to be a fun time. So, let's head on down, have some fun, we'll see you there. Alright, and let me know you guys are good with that. Alright, so, get it done, Carl? Nice. You're going to have to show up at least once, maybe on a weekend. Hey, I can dig that. So, Ethan, oh, I should probably update their pictures. That's probably something that I should do. Still got to get used to that. That's a new one for me. Still a new one for me. Oh, let's go ahead and do Reflector Mage. Reflector Mage. Let's do that one. They did great. Thanks, Lord Raven. I love it. And of course, to anybody who is just joining, be sure to hit that follow button and join us in the future. Looks like we're going to use a worm token as our clues. I can dig that. It'll work in the meantime. And we are going to hit for 1, knocking down to 19. Let's go ahead and shorten this name so that we don't overlap with the life totals and catch up on that one. Now, Ethan kicking off with the Wandering Fumarole. It does have a lot of removal. Is going to be able to control that one, but the biggest thing is that Ethan is going to have to control the Eldrazi Displacer. It's a really big hinge point for this deck. Otherwise, acting with that colorless mana means that you were able to start working in some of the Devoid creatures. So, we might see, we know that there's a Drowner of Hope, we know that there's a Reality Smasher, it appears that a Filigree Familiar exists within this deck a little bit. That's a great target just to gain a little bit of life. And it does enable things like the Glint Nest Crane, which is a 1/3 for 2. They taught you how to get DQ'd in Attorney? Interesting. Huh. They taught you how to get DQ'd in Attorney. I'd be curious about that one. Okay. So, that is, I guess that's useful. Shade of Hades, we are doing well. Time Knight, I appreciate the feedback. They're kind of fun for now. We can certainly look into them. Oh. So they started talking about Legacy during the modern stream. That's a very Justin thing to do. I can dig that. So, we're going to hit for 3. Looks like we're going to try and knock that 3 down. We do have that. So, we've got 1 energy for Ethan from that Ether Hub. And it looks like we're going to take the 3, go down to 15. Ethan's going to have to get something lined up. He's not under a ton of pressure because John's going with a pretty slow game plan. Drops down the Panharmonicon, really showing that his intent is to use this, and it gets countered by the look of it. Alright. So John did have Thought-Knots here that he chose to run out the Panharmonicon with the idea... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 4 Horsemen is fun. Joe actually plays a tournament legal version, but that's a conversation for another time. Swing for another 3. Looks like we might have some removal. Galvanic Bombardment, as I suppose, looks like to the option that we've got right now. I also do see a Drowner of Hope in there. Doesn't want to let Drawn draw that card, so might be going for the Thraben Inspector, but I'm not sure how much I like that. Huh. Hey, Rydog. Nope, no guest tonight. It's just me talking. Oh, sure. It's blue-white Flash, and it happens to run Panharmonicon. And I thought to myself, Flash in the Pan sounds fun. But it's basically a blue-white Flash deck that happens to jam in Panharmonicon and Eldrazi Displacer, and then utilizes some of that colorless mana. So, I can probably just go with blue-white Panharmonicon. See, and people always ask me, why don't you do fun deck names? Because people don't get it. Because people don't get it. That's not on you, by the way. That's on me. It just allows me to tell other people why I don't go with their deck names. I know, but if I have to explain it, then it's not a good name. At least, definitely for Standard, probably for Modern, and Legacy is its own beast, so they get to do whatever they want. Let's see. You know what, Bites in Flight? I actually do hope that that's the case. So, a Jace Unraveler of Secrets is going to come down. I liked the name too, but if I have to explain it, then it's not a good name, and I accept that. The Thought-Knot Seer looks like there's no counterspell because there's the Jace out, Galvanic Bombardment. We've also got 2 Drowners of Hope, and wow, didn't think I'd see a Brutal Expulsion. This is going to deal, it deals 2 damage, and it bounces a creature or a spell for 4 mana at instant speed. Quite the spell. I think he wants to leave him with that. There's not many creatures that he cares about, and decides to get rid of both of the Drowners of Hope because that Panharmonicon is doubling up those triggers. We're going to get 2 clue tokens here with this Thraben Inspector, and we're going to attack for 2 at the Jace, knocking it down to 4, keeping it in check. Ethan being at 12, John at 22 means that he can be a little bit patient. Make sure that this Jace doesn't do anything so that he loses to, because this Thought-Knot Seer is going to actually present a pretty sizable 3-turn clock once that gets online. And that's not going to really change it. Okay. It's okay, Shade of Hades. It's okay. I'm not worried about it at all. So, we've got 2 clue tokens. John doesn't want to use ours, and that's okay. So he's got some Reflector Mages, but they aren't doing much on this battlefield. There's 1 mystery card for Ethan, otherwise he knows about the Brutal Expulsion. May try and fire off... I mean, I think that you can attack in with the Thought-Knot Seer and just attack in and kill the Jace pretty easily. Because either you're applying pressure to it, or if he uses the Brutal Expulsion on something like the Thought-Knot Seer, then that feels nothing but good, because you get to fire that off again. And if you use it on the Filigree Familiar, you're going to gain 4 life for it, so that feels fine to me as well. So I'm not too worried. I'm probably just going to attack in on this, because almost anything that Ethan bounces with the Brutal Expulsion feels good. The 2 damage isn't great. You'll end up limiting a little bit of the damage that you deal, but I'm okay with that, I suppose. The Galvanic Bombardment, he could technically try and sweep this whole table, going with the Brutal Expulsion, getting rid of the Thought-Knot Seer, Galvanic Bombardment, the Filigree Familiar, and then use the 2 damage on the Thraben Inspector, but I'm not sure. This has been happening since basically just before Kaladesh came out. Standard really took a dip, and I think it's basically when everybody figured out that Emrakul was probably the best thing and that Gideon was the other best thing. And maybe I'm wrong in that assessment, but I don't know. I will try my best to keep streaming Standard. There's a very real world that we're possibly approaching where I end up just discontinuing the Monday stream for the time being, which I would hate to do, but it's a possibility, until Standard picks up again, because I don't know, Standard's not in a good spot. It just isn't, and I like Standard. I like all the formats. I like that Standard exists. I think that it's a cool thing. I think it's a good thing. But this format just isn't doing what it was meant to do, which is, I mean, fundamentally be fun and interesting to play. So, I don't know. The Jace is going to tick up. We're going to draw, looks like, alright, scratch to the bottom. Draw, getting a little bit of value off of that instead of just a regular draw. It's always nice when you get to put something on the bottom. Thought-Knot should be exiled. Oh, does that card actually exile it as well? I can mention that. I don't know if it'll be relevant, but let's see. I'll do my best. I really will, because I know that there's some people who really enjoy the Standard stream. Yeah, I got it. Technically, Thought-Knot is exiled. Brutal Expulsion exiles. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I know that there's people who really enjoy Standard. I know that there's a community of Standard players out there. I know that it's one of the most run things. We need a Pauper community to do that. We've been working on it, but Pauper is not a format that a store can sell because they make almost no money on selling the cards. They make money by running tournaments, but that's up to the players to decide that they want to have the decks to run Pauper. It's a format that does not exist very well as a store-run thing from the perspective of trying to get it going. Glimmer of Genius from Ethan, going to be gaining some of that sweet, sweet energy. Hopefully he'll be feeling a little bit revitalized after it, feeling good. Okay. Hey, Gideon, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Looks like we are going to fire off. Is that a spatial contortion? Nice. Take down the Thraben Inspector. Just trying to wear down, but John has been saving a lot of cards in hand. I don't think he's actually feeling too particularly stressed for cards. The big thing is that Jace has been drawing him a lot of cards. Zodiac's Ferret ends up in the same spot. If enough players decide that they want to play Frontier, I will absolutely run the tournament. Or I guess I'll convince Dylan to run the tournament, and he will. But that's another one to where the players have to build the decks. It's hard for the store to really push it. Okay. K-Marky, I honestly can't speak to it. Maybe. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I have my own opinions on what they're doing. They're really good at their job. I think that they messed up recently, and it's hard to take that. Okay. Frontier steps on Modern a bit, but the problem is that it's hard for the store to sell it. But if enough people build the decks, then not really. If you have a community that is willing to play a format, then you should cater to them as a store. That's just what you should do. If you can get people in and playing a format that they're already interested in, perfect. The problem is that you can't sell something that they're not buying. At least not when it comes to stuff like this where they're already invested into other things. So I can do my best. I can maybe put the idea out. Maybe I'll try that. It's not a bad thought. I'll see what I can do. Alright, we'll jump back here. We do have a second Panharmonicon on the table for John. Now, that does mean good things. That's a lot of triggered abilities as these start to happen. He does have the Eldrazi Displacer in hand. He hasn't been firing this one off for a while. Do the players have interest? There's been a little bit, but not a ton. But there's been murmurs of it. So, we'll see. Thoughts on cheaper Modern? I think that it's different. I will say that I had my own assumptions about the Frontier format. I made some assumptions, and I spoke of them, and they were misinformed. This is the Mirrorwing. Wow, that's sweet. Okay. They were misinformed. And the format is actually significantly more interesting than I gave it credit. And that's on me. But I've watched some streams of it. I've seen some people playing it. It looks much more interesting than I give it credit for. Does that... Wait, Carl, you're still... Goodness. But, I don't know. The format certainly has more depth than I expected. I would be interested in trying it out myself. The big issue is that if I'm trying it out, then I'm not streaming it. And I would be interested in streaming it. So, I might put together something. I don't think that Marvel is the biggest problem in Standard by a long shot. Hey, Darksteel Badger, it's good to see you. Okay. Megamorpheus? I can get that. I'll talk to the players. I can't promise anything, but I can mention it. Maybe I can convince Dylan to make something happen. Yep. So, let's go ahead and get rid of that Mirrorwing Dragon. Whenever a player... Oh, no, and it's not an instant or sorcery, which means that it doesn't end up hitting all of John's cards either. The Tom Ross, Todd Stevens. You know what? Sometimes you just gotta be. These are both... I think that I might just secretly be 50% both of them. Because... you know, they're the me fragmented. They can't handle this much energy, so they just split it between two people. But, yeah, this is usually my winter, colder weather kind of thing. Hey, thank you so much, JJ Ness. I do appreciate that. And, of course, anybody who is watching, always feel free to hit that follow button and join us more in the future. And, of course, you know, I hate doing it, but, of course, I can always plug the fact that there is that subscribe button. It does mean the world to us when you offer that support in a monetary sense. We've got some ideas going forward that we want to try enacting on, and all of that monetary gain means a lot for it. And thank you. I like kicking it with all of you. I like kicking it with all of you. I smile too much to be Tom. Well, that's the Todd half. That's the Todd half. I've got Tom's hair. Alright, so the Jace is at 2. We've got 2 of these Glint Nest Cranes. He is able to do a lot of digging with those and start sculpting this hand in a really big way. Eventually, he is going to... The interesting thing is that with 2 Panharmonicons, really we should take note of going to be a really big thing. Whoa! Did not expect that. Chandra Flamecaller hitting the battlefield. The dude, I appreciate it. We're going to try and sweep this field, but if John assembles both an Eldrazi Displacer and another big thing, Swolders, I do really appreciate that. To all the people, you know, I'd love it if you were fans of the format, and to all the people who are fans of the format, that's also really big. But to the people who come just to watch and hang out with me, that is so cool, and thank you for being a part of that with me. I really appreciate that. I guess knowing that you're here more than just to watch the format and that you're joining kind of for the entertainment value is a very validating thing for me, and I do appreciate that. So we paid for that. We're going to drop down the Eldrazi Displacer. If we can go and land in the Drowner of Hope, that is an arbitrarily... Nah, the dude, it wasn't you. You're just a troll. I like it, though. I like it. But that and the Drowner of Hope makes an arbitrarily large because each one creates 6 1/1s, and then the Eldrazi Displacer can sacrifice 3 of them to re-flicker it, and you get a functionally or arbitrarily large number of 1/1s. You also get infinite mana, which allows you to do all kinds of things, and it makes for a really difficult situation for Ethan. Hey, thank you so much, Cloudy Big Tiny. I do really appreciate that. It's a lot of fun for me to do. We're going to plus up this Chandra. We're going to try and bash in there. It is going to knock the 6 away from John's life total. He's going to go down to 20 after those 2 elementals hit him. And he's going to drop in a Drowner of Hope of his own. Probably not going to be pointing that Eldrazi Displacer in that one's direction. It is an interesting thing where that card can be used in a lot of interesting applications, both offensively and defensively. But anytime that you get those really big enter the battlefield cards, then suddenly that Eldrazi Displacer loses about half of its versatility. Sorry to hear that, Mick Miage. I hope that your audio situation improves. We do have the Reflector Mage. We could technically fire it off. Looks like we don't have the Drowner just yet. We do have a Westvale Abbey. The Westvale Abbey becomes an interesting tool because he can actually use those signs to create an attacker with that. K-Mark, hey, thank you so much. Thank you, K-Marky. I do really appreciate that. To be honest, there is no actual store agreement. We've just got the community for it. It's crackling a bit. Let me see what I can do. Maybe that helped. Let me know if that helped. I wiggled the cord, to be honest, which is almost nothing, but maybe it was something. Please let me know from this point forward. I would love that. Okay. Hey, thank you, Rutro. You're all pretty amazing. How are you all doing tonight? We're going to plus this Jace up. We've got a Scry, and looks like we're going to give that Scry a try as we drop it into the hand. Taking a look at what we've got. We've got some Galvanic Bombardment, more land drops. Hitting land drops is surprisingly key. This Wandering Fumarole is existing a little bit on the sidelines for a good portion of this game, and I'm not sure if Ethan's intention is to keep it as far back as he can. John did fire off this, I don't know. John's got 3 open mana. He's just going to flicker this. And he takes down one of the tokens as well. Very cool. So he can actually only hit John for 3 here. Because he went for it then, he was able to just flicker that, take down one of the 3/1 tokens, as well as the Mirrorwing Dragon. The TJ Tauntaun. Alright, so the people who are having audio issues, did it clear up a little bit for you with the minor adjustment that I made? And Ethan takes down... Ooh, that is an unfortunate missequencing, going for that after playing the Mirrorwing Dragon and plussing that Chandra, because that would have been a fairly big swing. Oh, you're right, there are 2 Panharmonicons. You are absolutely correct. He was able to take down all of those. I would love to give my thoughts on Tezzeret. I would love to, during some of the downtime. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. We might have a little bit of free time tonight. Hopefully some conversation can help supplement it a little bit, and we can have fun with it that way. I don't know, I suppose we'll just kind of make it happen. I don't know. We'll do stuff. We'll do stuff. Just the sounds of the leather jacket. Fair enough. Alright, thank you so much, Lobex. It's just the crackling. It doesn't crackle that much. There's the crackling. Maybe that was it. Here's the leather. Ooh, but it's so stylish. But it's so stylish. So we lost our Displacer, and that's pretty big, because John loses a lot of his versatility. Now he's just got a 2-1, and he's looking down an endless stream of 3 1s that are coming 2 at a time each turn. He also has got a couple of these Wandering Fumaroles, which can also attack. You want to make 5? I'm not sure what you mean by make 5, but I like what you're saying. They're a feature, not a bug. Fair enough. So the Wandering Fumaroles can start getting a little bit aggressive. Looks like we've got a Spatial Contortion there. John is suddenly in a little bit of a weak position. He can lose a life and create 1/1s. And that should be interesting, because he loses a life for it. It means that he's only losing 4 life from these elementals, or he can try and take down a Wandering Fumarole in theory. But it looks like he doesn't want to start utilizing that one. I'm a little bit surprised, actually, unless he's going to try and create it at the end step. And it looks like the Drowner of Hope is going to come in. That is going to be pretty big game. I don't see John really getting out of this. I think Ethan just took full control of this game once he was able to answer. However, John can recover fairly quickly, I suppose. Really, one Glint Nest Crane might have been enough, and he didn't draw it. And let's take a look at how much damage that we've got presented on the battlefield. And anticipate here, but we've got 6 there. Plus the 5, so that's 11. So technically we're attacking for lethal next turn. John can produce enough blockers to potentially, unless of course Ethan spots that he can actually go for these Wandering Fumaroles and attack with those as well. Because that would actually provide Ethan the ways, because I believe he has 2 of these Wandering Fumaroles. If he does, then he can actually go for the kill by attacking with both of those, in addition to the other power that he has. Or he could just use the minus on Jace, and I think that might have been the more relevant play there, is to use that minus for the Jace to bounce that 1 token, and that would also give you the exact amount needed, I think. Is that... Nah, that might not be right. Hold on. Because you would block 5 of it, but then there's 6, 7, 8, yeah, that would be enough. That would be enough. The Panharmonicon? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But you think you know the reason why the Ethereum Cell token has to tap for mana? Tell me more. Tell me more. Hey, 11 Dot, it's good to see ya. Tell me why you think they should tap. Oh, that's why. That's why. They have to tap for mana so that you can't do the new artifact Convoke and then crack them for mana, so they end up tapping for double. That makes a lot of sense, Shade of Hades. Ooh. Alright, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Tristan Compton, it's good to see you. So, we've got 2 of these down. They're currently tapped. We swung for a lot of damage. We're down to 1, and we're hurting a little bit. Looks like we did drop in the Mirrorwing Dragon. I think Ethan may have gotten a little bit locked into the game plan of winning with this Mirrorwing Dragon, because I think that he had a more optimal choice in just minusing the Jace and going for the win that way. But he functionally won in that last turn, and I think he may have just somewhat tunnel-visioned with his game plan. John, on the other hand, just lost the edge. You know, the 2 Panharmonicons looked really good, but he ran out of steam. He didn't, you know, get the chance to flicker some of these. Ethan just went on a big control barrage at one point, took down a lot of these things that he wanted to flicker, and then entering the Displacer was a huge problem. I wonder if they're going to have a blue cord for artifacts with Improvise. Interesting. The big difference is that Improvise doesn't reduce based on for colored mana from the artifacts. So I think those creature lands could have been utilized a little bit more, but I don't think that it ended up. I mean, it didn't cost Ethan the game. So we're gonna head into a game 2. John lining up and getting ready for a little bit more of this magic. He does get to be on the play, and I think he might just be trying to assemble one of these engines a little bit more successfully. Appears to be bringing in control magic, some appears to be some Thought-Knot Seers, Spell Shrivel, and a Negate by the look of it. All of those are pretty relevant. Those Thought-Knot Seers are able to take down some of the Planeswalkers that Ethan was going with. And really, John running out of resources had a lot to do with the fact that Ethan had this Jace, which was scrying and drawing him cards each turn, and that ended up netting him probably 4 to 5 cards over the course of the game, and that is not nothing. He was really able to expend a lot of removal, and while John made a fairly large board, Ethan was able to answer all of it. Maybe a blue XXX, or XX, maybe. Will inventions, which inventions will end up? Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to speculate on those because they don't, you can't speculate on where they'll be environment-wise because they don't actually matter for the standard environment. So, I mean, I would not have placed Mana Vault in the first one, so I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. Each artifact after you're done activating mana abilities. I think it's the exact same wording. I think that that's just another way to clarify for it. The last swords are a possibility. I'd like to see a chalice, I think. Yep. A Thopter Foundry might be interesting. Maybe just a Sword of the Meek. I'm not sure if... Maybe both. You could technically do both. But Thopter Foundry makes a lot of sense. Sword of the Meek makes a little bit of sense. You could try to do... Ensnaring Bridge, I think, would be an interesting one. Yep, Lordred Raven. I agree with you there. It's a really small one, but I don't know. It might be kind of cool to see something like a Pyrite Spellbomb invention or one of the Spellbombs as an invention. And I know that that's like a really small one, but if it has the alt art, not all of them need to be super expensive, you know. What standard? You thought the format was called Emrakul? Nice. Dat Dorm? Nice. Smooth. I believe that the rulings on them are the same, but they haven't released the notes, so I guess we don't know yet, Shade of Hades. A Mirror Galley invention would be cool. Nice. That'd be pretty cool. One of the story arts. Oh, you mean right when everything was happening and there was the one guy who was kind of upset thing? Yeah, I see what you're saying. And actually, they even put a little bit of a highlight on it, so I totally get what you're saying on that. Looks like we're going to drop down a Therian Inspector, create a clue token on John's side of the battlefield. We're going to follow up our second turn with the Smuggler's Copter, attack for 1. And a Galvanic Bombardment, going to take that one down. It does keep John from activating this Smuggler's Copter. He's got a Spell Shrivel and lands in hand. John is in a rough spot suddenly. This clue is going to get cracked a little bit sooner than he wanted it to. He's going to play down a land, kick the turn back, and give himself the option of either casting a Spell Shrivel or casting a Smuggler's Copter, except I don't think that he quite left himself in that realm. Passing it back, he's going to crack the clue as well as pop. Theoretically, I think you want to pop the land first. Yeah, it just means that you're slightly less likely. If you're going to do both of them, and the statistics on it are almost non-existent. But it means that he's less likely to draw whatever basic that... Or he won't draw the basic that he grabbed. So there's a technical slightly less chance of hitting that. A Stasis Snare, some counterspells, and lands. John is not looking too snazzy here. So low on the creature draw is going to kick it back. The Stasis Snare can answer a little bit, but not a lot. A Masterpiece Ornithopter would be beautiful. I would dig that. An Arcbound Ravager would be a really cool one. Yeah, an Arcbound Ravager would be a really cool one. Or a Cranial Plating. I guess you could just technically make Modern Affinity the spoiler. And we are going to go ahead and counter that one. Give Ethan a little bit of a free turn here. But keeping him off of that draw too could end up being pretty relevant. So, Ethan heading into his turn. He'll likely end up having 5 mana. Going with the Wandering Fumarole and doesn't play down, so no Jace, nothing... Ethan didn't really capitalize on that. I think that John tapping out there, I may have wanted to fire off something a bit more substantial there, if you're not expecting to play against a lot of counter magic. The Displacer is okay. He also has a Skyship, which is not bad if Ethan decides to play out a Planeswalker. It'll be able to pressure it a little bit. We're going to crew this up, swing for 3, and if Ethan's low on removal, this suddenly looks really good for him. Interestingly enough, I actually might get rid of this backup Smuggler's Copter. I think I've got the Skyship Sovereign. The Stasis Snare does. I think I want the Stasis Snare, and I think that I want the 6th or the 7th land in hand if he still has one. It just looks a little bit pretty solid right now. Darksteel Citadel doesn't make much sense as an invention, but I do like it. It just, the land portion of that might make it difficult to get away with. But we are going to hit for 3, down to 17 on Ethan's side of the battlefield. John able to get a little bit proactive now. It looks like he does not have the other land. Gets rid of the Stasis Snare because he doesn't believe he wants the removal, or he's assuming that this Sky Sovereign is going to act as the more key portion of his removal base because it is able to be repeated, and it is able to hit those Planeswalkers in addition to creatures. I may have gone for the Smuggler's Copter because I'm really looking for... but I don't know. I could see that one going either way. The Smuggler's Copter is a 2-mana thing, as the Stasis Snare is 3 mana. That might be another edge for it. Looks like we're going to remove this one as well. Ethan not able to get a hold of that one. John does fire off the counterspell. Now we can start attacking for 3 a little bit more. The Thought-Knot Seer was big. If he's got a Wastes, which I believe he does... Oh, did we not go for a Wastes when we fetched a basic? So we actually can't cast... Oh, that is rough. So when we fired off the Evolving Wilds, we didn't go for a Waste. And now we're in a situation with a Thought-Knot Seer in hand that we can't cast. If Modern Affinity were made in Masterpieces, it would wreck the Gatewatch. They'd be using it. They'd be using it. So, Ethan up to 3 energy on his side of the battlefield as well. Looking pretty okay there. Still not incredible, though. Still not super incredible. Looks like Ethan... I don't know. I guess we've got a Radiant Flames in hand, which... Actually, that might be surprisingly good. John has been playing out other creatures. It gets rid of the Eldrazi Displacer, which is a pretty key card here. That seems to be the only removal that we had. I think Ethan might have an Elder Deep Fiend in hand. That's a little bit bold, but I kind of love it. No... Man. Ethan is crushing this game just through the power of John not being able to cast those spells. I think that Evolving Wilds early on is really punishing what John could be assembling here. He would have been able to take down some of those removal spells. He would, he'd still have the Displacer. He would have swung for 6 in that singular turn. So Ethan would be at 11. He would have just been capable of swinging for really another 7. And so Ethan would be at 4 in theory with this Thought-Knot Seer on the board. The Jace is going to come down here, probably just going to plus up again. There's not a whole lot of sense in minusing. Lining and with still 3 mana available, it means that a lot of that, we do have a negate in hand, so actually John is almost certainly going to try and fire off this Sky Sovereign, and that negate is going to answer it really cleanly, especially because John can't cast the Thought-Knot Seer. So unless John draws something really good to go, he's gonna fire that one off, and it's going to get negated, and Ethan is going to really pull into a favorable position as this Jace starts to tick up even more. I think Ethan is on his way to taking down this one. Yeah, and that emblem is going to be devastating. I think you fire off a negate. Bad news bears. Yep. So, you plus this one up, and, this is rough. You have another negate in hand. Really, I'm probably just plussing up the Jace. I'm going to make sure that no creatures resolve. I'm going to make sure that the Jace survives, because if I can ult that, then there's almost no way that I lose at this situation. The first creature getting countered each turn, and then I can hold up a small amount, but then all of my counter magic, John just doesn't get to play the game functionally anymore. Panharmonicon looks okay. Did he miss energy from the Glimmer? I don't know. Spudhead. We're going to negate the Panharmonicon. We're going to kick it back. We're going to plus this Jace up again. And if we pass it back, I might even actually let the Jace get up to 9 if I feel like I have enough control over the board. as it sits. Take the draw this time. Maybe not ult it the following turn. You keep using this Glimmer of Genius. Keep drawing for that. How much is that Jace last? It is -8. It is a -8. Hi, Dylan.
Want a partner in crime?
Oh, I can always use one, certainly.
Hello,
How you doing?
partners.
I think
Good.
Carl's on his way to play with us a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But we're
I
looking
will
at a
welcome you.
Jace, which I would hope is going to plus up once more, so that it's able to actually just go for the ult ability pretty freely. Instead of,
Ooh.
you don't want to lose the Jace on the ult. Obviously, it's in a really good position, but Ethan's got enough counter magic to maybe keep this board under control.
I'm trying to remember. Nah, it's at 8 when it ults, so okay.
Yep, and so I might just plus it up to 9 and then ult it. Hey, Melion. Hello, everybody. This is Dylan. He's the one who is fully recovered,
Yeah, probably.
decently recovered.
Close enough.
Everybody was
Close enough to come back to work, everybody. Yeah.
Everyone was giving you good wishes and hoping that you get better soon.
Yeah, I was devastated. Whoa, jeez. Oh, phones are. Oh man.
Go have fun. All right. So the Elder Deep Fiend is a really nice way to apply pressure for Ethan. He's able to protect that. Looks like he just went for the -8. Probably not completely better, but he's recovering. He looks a lot better. He looked pretty bad when I saw him on Saturday. Went out to pick up everything. Does Dylan normally get sick when his Hawks struggle? No, normally that's when he gets stronger than ever before. He's like the Bruce Banner of Hawks fans.
Sure.
Yeah, Shade of Hades.
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm back.
Hi, welcome back.
That was a fun phone call.
Yeah, early on in this game, John has had this Thought-Knots here. Basically, from an early point, he had one of his first lands was actually an Evolving Wilds. Didn't go for a waste, and has been unable to cast this Thought-Knots here, which has left him with a useless Smuggler's Copter for a good portion of this game.
That's always rough.
It's been a rough spot to be in. Ethan is just dominating this, and now that he has the Jace ult, which says that the first spell that John casts each turn is countered,
Yeah,
and
he's
an
got-
Elder Deep Fiend,
Yeah.
it's hard to picture a world in which Ethan doesn't just crush this game.
Blue-red control, huh?
Blue-red control.
Sorry, I'm just kind of coming in the last second here, just kind of seeing.
Yeah.
Feeling better, yeah.
A lot of Galvanic Bombardments, some Elder Deep Fiends, which is a little bit of a new... It's kind of a Planeswalker heavy thing. You've got both Jace Flamecaller and Chandra Flamecaller and Jace Unraveler of Secrets that we've seen so far.
So that one gets countered,
Sure, and
and yeah.
I'm not sure why you even fired that off. I might have saved that for if I drew a waste. I could theoretically put something together, but I don't know. Doesn't look like it.
Carl's here.
Hey, Carl, it's good to see you.
Hello, Carl. You can jam a game with Randon on the camera now.
Are we only at 99 viewers? That's okay. I understand. Thank you to everybody who is watching. My name's TJ.
I am Dylan.
We're streaming out of Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington, having ourselves a good time doing it.
What's our background? I can't quite tell.
Our background is actually Narset.
Narset.
Yeah.
I like that card.
David snuck in and set it
I snuck in that Narset. Non-magic related here. I do not get sick when the Hawks struggle because the Hawks won last Thursday, and then I got sick on Friday.
I said that you're the Bruce Banner of Hawks fans. You actually get stronger.
Yes, that was a rough weekend.
Yeah. I did
see the new Tez. Oh yeah.
I did. We'll talk about it a bit between some games and stuff. I'm totally down to take a moment to talk about that.
And then there's that new blue card that was spoiled too. That's got some interesting effects.
Oh, the Quicksilver Spy.
Yeah.
The one that was the MTGO account spoiler or something like that.
Yep.
Yep. Just think they're not stuck with the Vikings.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be a
that's
Browns
right.
fan. All right, so Ethan's gonna take that one
Yeah.
down nice and quick. That Chandra ended up. I mean, the plus on that represents 6 damage. I think that Chandra is wildly underrated. Maybe not in the context of standard, but just in
Well,
general.
in control deck, it's very good. I mean, like you take care of what you need to take care of, and then she comes down, and if they don't got an answer for it, I mean, 6 damage real quick.
Yep, I've actually advocated for her in Modern a lot.
Yeah, I've seen her. I've seen her in several sideboards, and I've seen her, walk around in the large, diverse Modern crowd that we have. She'll pop in. Seen a couple, maybe a Jund or
some Blue Moon we've had
Blue
running
Moon,
it before.
And then is it not something that Scred would want to run, or
The biggest thing
is
is
it
that
too heavy?
it's just a little bit too heavy.
Yeah, 6 mana is a lot. Well, you gotta have a deck that can get to 6, then would be able to utilize 6 mana.
It's not a matter of that she would be bad there. It's just the fact of, you only get the 60 slots. And you'd rather have the Koth or, the Chandra Torch.
Man. Oh, that's right. They play the Torch.
Yep.
Or, oh, no, they play Koth instead of the
They
Chandra.
run 4 Koth and like 1 to 2 Chandra.
Yeah.
Chandra Torch.
That's right.
What are my expectations about the new expansion? I hope it's got a... let's go ahead and jump up to the booth. We'll see.
Oh, man.
Hello and thanks for joining. My name's TJ. Dylan just stepped out, but what are my expectations on the new set? That is... looks like I was wanting more viewers. Would I like some help? Hey! MS Office Assistant Clippy! That's brilliant! Oh, that is so funny. Oh, that is brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's cool. Alright, so thank you so much for joining. We're playing some Standard tonight. We're going to get some more matches for you. We're just going to have some fun with it tonight, show you some games, do some stuff, have some things, and we'll just kind of see what we can do. But, what do we expect out of Aether Revolt? I don't know. I guess I don't have a whole lot of expectations, to be honest. I think I'm going to Narset in your red, white, blue control. There's only 5 creatures in the deck. Do you mean Narset in... I'm not entirely sure what kind of deck that you're talking about there. You want to wait? I don't want to interact with my opponent's energy. I don't want that at all. I think it should be yours. The feel bads there would just be incredible. I could see maybe a card that eliminates their energy, but taking it seems like it would only get utilized in some way that just leads to like the worst feelings ever. So, I just don't know about that one. I could see maybe eliminating energy, but even that one's rough. I'm not sure if I want to step into that realm either. Maybe see some cards that care about how much energy that you have, so maybe this card gets a boost if you have 3 or more energy. Hey, Lightning Eagle.
So it's I'm against the wall, random. I don't know what he's on. I'm on blue light control against the wall.
Okay. I can work with that. Brandon, I'm so bad at this. Last name? Fritzlinger? Is it Fretzlinger? Is the last name Fretzlinger? Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Why not just F? Jesus fuck.
Not
F for fuck, but... Oh, you're on...
Yeah. Family friendly. I'm so bad with names. I apologize. Alright, I'm actually going
out there, then, I guess.
I'm going to write this down on a note for myself.
Yes.
And then I'm going to
My work badge, because I keep handing it to you.
That's true. I do like your work badge. Can I go work for you? Thank you.
Nope, you're not that pretty.
Okay, so we have got that versus blue-white control from Carl. There needs to be a way to stop your opponent from getting energy. I mean, there is the new counterspell that they printed. There is that. So, we'll see what we can do. No mana drain, but for energy? No, that'd be miserable. Don't ever give that. I don't want to deal with it. That sounds awful. No. So, Copter will be worse than Standard after Aetherbolt. I mean, power level is entirely contextual. We don't know the context. I couldn't tell you. I mean, Copter technically is answered by the Heart of Kiran, which is my assumption as to why they would say that, but Heart of Kiran needs to be good enough. And then you have to think to yourself, why wouldn't they just play both of them in the same deck? So, I could not tell you. Will a 3/3 for flying on turn 2 be bad? Probably not. That's kind of where I'm at. But power level's so contextual that I guess I could not tell you one way or the other. What do I want to do here? Let's do Smuggler's Capture there, and let's do Glimmer of Genius here. Alright, let's head on down, let's have some fun, we'll see you there. And it looks like I was both wrong about it. This is actually green-red energy. I was expecting him to be on vehicles. So let's go ahead and change that. Electrostatic pummelers, I think what we're going to go for there. And now we have got that fixed on up. Looks to be 4 energy on Randon's side of the battlefield as we are catching up just a little bit. I don't own any ugly Christmas sweaters. I have none. I don't know. So probably not. Looks like we're going to counter that one. Keep that Hydra off the battlefield. The Hydra secretly the best, well not too secretly, but pretty much the best creature card in that deck. The Electrostatic has certainly the most busted draws and the biggest damage. But the Hydra's really what closes. That is Wasteland Carl, actually. That is the Wasteland Carl. Otherwise, we've got the Longtusk Cub as well as a Servant of the Conduit on the battlefield. So we've got a little bit of way to utilize some of that energy that we have to accelerate the mana a little bit. We could also pump this up to being a 5/5 anytime. Yep. Carl's one of us. Become Immense on the Longtusk Cub is going to put it up to being 6 power. Looks like we're going to put a Become Immense onto the Servant as well. Interesting. Trying to split this up. Maybe trying to play around a Stasis Snare. And it looks like we did get one. Taking down that one. Nope. No trolling over here. No trolling. It's probably bad, but what about Heart of Kiran with Narset? Maybe. She's got a lot of loyalty. She's got a lot of loyalty. We're going to take that one down. We end up taking 6 damage. We're down to 8. If we've got another Stasis Snare, this is starting to look really good for Carl. Good, some energy on the battlefield. Looks like we're kicking it back. The Voltaic Brawler currently available. And we're going to go for a Blessed Alliance. We're getting 4 and having him sacrifice an attacking creature. That was a big play. Suddenly Carl looks like he is in the driver's seat for this one. Voltaic Brawler looks okay. We've got another Servant coming down. We're out of the ability to actually produce, or I guess take advantage of that. We don't have any of the pump spells in hand right now. So that Servant of the Conduit looks, I'd say, a pretty distinct medium. At least the Blessed Alliance looks slightly worse. We've got a Negate and I think a Glimmer of Genius, so Carl is actually a little bit shy on options. As far as what he may want to do here, might end up just firing off, unless that's actually just the counterspell, which means that Carl actually might be in a little bit of issue, unless he wants to exile that ability from the stack, but that seems real loose. I'm not sure if I like that. Not a big fan of Servant in this deck anymore. I think that it helps you cast the Hydra. I think that it's a creature which is relevant, and I think that it produces mana. Until he glimmers into Blessed Alliance? Sure. I don't think that he actually had the Glimmer. I think that was actually the counterspell. It is. So we need an answer soon, otherwise we're going to be firing off a counterspell for the phenomenal play of eliminating that ability, and Carl actually didn't go for that. That's interesting. The Uncaged Fury still would have closed that game out, but I think that Carl may have missed just the option that he had for taking down at least the triggered ability. Ah well. So, Randon takes game 1 in a pretty resounding fashion. He just turned creatures sideways until Carl stopped. And sometimes that's enough to do it. Servant is too good not to run. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's the best card in the deck by any means, but it produces energy for itself. It does some good stuff. I think someone on Thursday played a Modern Mardu Vehicles. I don't know. Ashiok is way cooler. Ashiok is way cooler. Ooh, maybe I should do bold predictions for Aether Revolt. I should do my 3 reasonable, unreasonable, and medium. Or my reasonable, unreasonable, and outlandish predictions for Aether Revolt. That sounds kind of fun. Alright. TJ's predictions for Aether Revolt. Reasonable. Reasonable one is that they will give us... What is my reasonable prediction? Let's go with... Where's Maeve? I don't know where Maeve is. Couldn't tell you. I don't track everybody. Everybody's got lives and busyness and all that kind of stuff. So I'm here today having some fun. Let's see here. The green red white walker deck looks fun. So no, that's too reasonable because we already know it. That's too reasonable. The cards, we already know that they exist. All right. Here's my thought. My reasonable prediction is that they are going to put... I don't know. Man. I've only got my reasonable and outlandish one. I need like a reasonable prediction. Like something that's just almost certainly going to be happening. How about a shock with an upside? Alright, how about... Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take reasonable. For reasonable burn, Lightning Strike. I'll say Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike will be my reasonable prediction. I think that there's a good chance of getting a Lightning Strike because it makes sense flavorfully in that there's the energy and it does that kind of stuff. And it's just a good card. They probably won't, but that's okay. That's my reasonable prediction, even though they already gave us Harness Lightning, and that might be too much. But you know what? Give me a Lightning Strike. That's all I care about. That's what I want. My unreasonable prediction is that Inspired will be one of the mechanics of the set. I think that Inspired is going to come back. So I think that we're going to maintain where vehicles are still going to be a thing. I think that we're going to expand a little bit, but I think if they add one mechanic here, more than the one that we've already seen, I think it will be Inspired. I think Inspired would be a particularly cool mechanic to see. It works out really well with a lot of the current abilities. They hinted at it somewhat. Otherwise, I think that Inspired might just be coming from Amonkhet. You know what? Maybe I should push that one to Amonkhet. No, that'll be an Amonkhet. Inspired works so well in Amonkhet. I need a new unreasonable one. That's going to be an Amonkhet one all over the place, because they have functional Inspired already in the set. Anyway, alright, here's my unreasonable one. My unreasonable one is that standard attendance will become glorious again, and the format will be sweet. And my outlandish one is that there will be a card... let's say that Ashiok comes back in the story. I think Ashiok will come in and reveal an allegiance with Tezzeret. Okay, what's my prediction for lands? I could not tell you. So, they can make it Theros fixed. Okay, well, give me Inspired. I think that Inspired will be sometime in the next 3 sets. How about that? Inspired will share a standard season with vehicles. Players didn't like Inspired not because it's a good mechanic, but because there was nothing worth doing with it. And I don't remember the state of design, but I know that sometimes it's based on the playability of the mechanic. But I think that in the right environment, Inspired looks much better. The problem is that they put Inspired into a format with no actual way to utilize it other than attacking. There was just nothing. I think that Inspired existing in the same environment as vehicles, obviously the mechanic is not incredible, but a couple of cards with Inspired could be really cool. They utilize themselves really nicely. But maybe they do something to where they just keep doing a bunch of functional Inspired that just spells out when this becomes untapped so it doesn't take up a full slot. I just want when this card untaps. That's what I want. I think that it's sweet. Yeah. They had Convoke an M15. I mean, did they share? Okay. I guess I'm wrong on that. Since they were just spoiled, any thoughts on the December 25th Wizard Special Preview card? Don't know. I don't know. Do we do any PTQs or IQs or anything like that? We don't do any IQs that I'm aware of. We do occasionally do PPTQs. We occasionally do GPTs, and whenever I can, I try and stream them. The Masterpieces, it seems like a pretty good one. Shade of Hades, that's a really good prediction. I can dig that. So, looks like we're just going to start off with a Port Town from Carl, starting off with a tapped one. Doro, what's our bold prediction? Also, happy birthday to Doro! Doro, your birthday was yesterday. You're incredible and amazing and awesome and fantastic and the greatest mod on all of Twitch, and I appreciate you and what you do for this stream. It is endlessly amazing and helpful, and you have been nothing but incredible to this stream, and you have helped foster the community that I love ever so much. So thank you for what you do. Inspired is an untapped triggered ability? Basically. Yep. You were wondering, for when you move out there, we do GPTs and stuff like that. We do some PPTQs. Not many not many invitational qualifiers. We're not actually part. Star City has almost nothing on this side of the world, especially now that they're taking away a lot of that stuff. That's a really bold prediction, Doro. That's super bold. Looks like we are going to go with and anticipate from Carl. Not a whole lot working from either player just yet, but for Carl, that's to be expected. From Randon, we just haven't really seen a whole lot being developed on the creature side of things that would really be productive here. We did generate a lot of energy. We're putting down a Long Tusk Cub, and if this one sticks on the battlefield, this is starting to look like a positive direction to be. Okay. And Blessed Alliance is going to take it down. We're looking good. We're up to 24. We're able to kick that one. Carl looking significantly better in this one, but this is how he looked last time. If he doesn't have an answer to this Voltaic Brawler, he's still going to be in a rough spot. He's going to go up to this 6 energy, and we need an answer here. I'm not sure if it'll be in a year's time, but I don't know. Emrakul, my legitimate advice would be to go with Theros, if anything, or Origins. A Fumigate to take down that one is bold, but you know, it'll get the job done. Having fetches and shocks in the same format means that you're basically giving perfect mana, but none of the things to do with it. And the Hydra comes down. With the Hydras, this actually might mean that Random just wins. This is a deck that can't really answer the Hydra, and he's already used both the Blessed Alliance. No, Torrential Gearhulk for the Blessed Alliance is so good. That's so good. Using the Fumigate in the Blessed Alliance seemed really loose, but it looks like it ended up okay. That Torrential Gearhulk able to take it down. We do have the backup Hydra, which means problems for Carl. He at least has a functional blocker now. He could theoretically fire off this Stasis Snare to try and get him to use some of the energy on his turn. I'm not sure if I like that, though, because they're plus one counters. It's not like an until end of turn thing. And any of the things that Random does to actually, you know, stop it is not going to be incredible. Getting aggressive. Wow. Okay, I don't like that. I think that you need to answer the Hydra before you start turning it sideways. Because right now, this is functionally buying you another turn to find another answer in the form of a Blessed Alliance or that Fumigate. And if it's blocking to do that, I would block it every time. You can't afford right now to let it get Double Strike. There's a lot of energy on the battlefield. You've got 12 of it right now, so you can do this 3 times. You can make it 8, and then you can Double Strike it up to 16. Now you attach an Up-and-Come Immense onto that in addition to a Battle Rage, then that is just absurd. Or I guess not a Battle Rage, I'm sorry, but you start going for the Claw, or just a couple of those Become Immense. Either way, Randon's got a lot of damage on the board right now. Okay. I'm not sure if you want Death Threat Shaman and Fetches in the same situation. Westvale can give some short-term answers. Good point, Melion. Thank you. I appreciate that. What land? That is the Westvale Abbey, actually. Happy on birthday to almost everybody. That's true. That's true. Okay. You wish you'd gotten to play Theros. Theros was a lot of fun. I really did like Theros a lot. Can his deck flip Westvale? I assume that between... In theory, sure. In theory, sure. We do have both a Stasis Snare and a Skywhaler shot. So maybe we go for a world in which we try and convince Randon to fire off enough of this. Blocking and then try to eliminate the energy count using that. Looks like a Stasis Snare. We're going to point at the Servant of the Conduit. Take that one down. We were taking a little bit of damage here. We've still plenty of energy to be had. I don't know. Jamie! Jamie, thank you so much for the sub. Thanks for joining. Look at that sub hype. Thank you so much for the support. I love it. Thank you. Thanks for joining. I know that it's pretty late for you. I know that you were pretty tired earlier, but I appreciate you coming by, swinging by, going for the sub. That is so awesome. Jamie, it's good to see you. Everybody who hasn't yet, check out Jamie's stream. She streams during the daytime, which is a great way for me to sell her stream, because we're never conflicting time-wise. Malon! Malon, thank you so much! The dominoes are toppling in the greatest of ways. It's awesome having you all, and that means the world to me. That is so cool and amazing, and thank you so much. We've got a Torrential Gearhulk out now. We do have a Zada Hadron Grinder on the battlefield, which is definitely throwing me off. But it's pretty cool. It's maybe a 1 to 2 of here. The interesting thing about it is that with any of those pump spells, then it ends up as this really potent way to deal a lot of damage. Oh man. Thanks so much. Click that sub button. Hey, I'm always... What did Randon board the takedown in for? I assume that he boarded the takedown in for Avacyn, because you can use it in response to the ability. Phenomenal. It's going well. It's not really a tournament because standard is standard these days, which means that you don't get much of anything. But we're still running the stream anyway in the hopes that it will one day be somewhat halfway decent. Is kind of where we're at. Yeah. And I'm going to send a quick message to Dylan to try and move that dice over, if possible. Looks like we are getting a little bit aggressive with these Torrential Gearhulks, which is always a good feeling because they're big and worth attacking with. Alright. Could you adjust dice? Thank you very much, Dylan. Thank you very much. It's a sorcery? Never mind. I have no idea then. I have no idea. I think we are at 5, but I don't know for certain. It looks like a life total that would be close to 5, however. The Gearhulks are doing that attacking thing, which is so good. And I think Carl is just assuming that he doesn't have it here. Oh! We're gonna Glimmer of Genius, and we... Or no... That's the Anticipate, and you got the Blessed Alliance? Oh my goodness. And then you just block the other one? Oh. No. Oh no. Oh no. Carl is so torrential right now. It's a game 3. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Make it rain. Make it rain. Spirit, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Oh man. Torrential Gearhulk. Oh, so good. That card's insane. That card's insane. Sideboarded out for TJ tokens? What are we talking about sideboard to? Oh, where's the Become Immense? You need to have those TJ tokens in your deck. Absolutely. Though, are you saying that I don't become immense? Because, ugh, I am packing these leather sleeves all day with my arms, which are arms that extend from my body. I'll have you know. Oh, man. Alright. I have another mod here. Take care of... Shade, have a good night. Thank you so much for stopping by and joining us. TJ tokens? I don't know. TJ tokens sound fun. I don't know what they would be, though. I don't know. Play them. Use them for things. Use them as loyalty counters. Not for your planeswalkers, for your friends. Here you go. You've got loyalty. And it's similar to AOL. They'll make fun of you for being a child of the 90s, and you'll say, great, you don't have mail. Then you'll take your token, you'll use it as goblin tokens as you're crushing your opponents with Rabble Red and Frontier. You'll call it a day. You'll find yourself moving forward into the modern format, and you'll think to yourself, well, I am running Jund, I might as well use it as a zombie for this Kalitas. The only downside there is that you'll never want to sacrifice it to your Kalitas. That's a problem. So you've got to move forward into cool things. So you're going to make me the wolf for the Huntmaster of the Fells, and I'm going to be like, rah, and it's going to be awesome. But then, whether you like it or not, it's time for Legacy. Legacy's going to be sweet. It's going to be awesome. Detri, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. As you jump into the Legacy realm, you're going to be thinking to yourself, what am I going to do? Well, you're playing lands, you're bringing in Tireless Tracker, and that's right. TJ is the clue that you've got. Wow, what a cool way to go about it. I'm going to be sitting there trying to give you as much information as possible, just like I do here. But then, after this Legacy tournament, what's to be had? Well, you haven't played Standard yet. Time to jump in, and that's right, TJ energy counters for days. No, we're not putting a die on there. We're gonna get individual energy for all of the energy that I can bring. Woo! It's gonna be sweet. TJ screams energy tokens. Yeah, I can get that. I can get that. See, my tokens are so versatile. So versatile. Messiah, I actually don't respond. Not much caffeine here. This is just kind of how I do. Caffeine has got nothing to do with this. Van Gundy 17, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. If you are hitting up this stream for the first time, welcome. My name is TJ. I do this stream 4 times a week. I often have co-hosts with me. Brevin, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's incredible having you all here. Let me know where you're watching from and how you found out about this stream, whether you were just sifting through the Twitch page or if you were finding your way into from a recommendation of someone else or through another source. Either way, it's always kind of fun having you here. And of course, we get a variety of co-hosts. We do the stream 4 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday night. You can join me here for a variety of formats, 3 of them in fact, and we'll keep doing cool stuff. Voltaic Brawler coming down, and we're gaining. Click that sub button and watch TJ go ham. Hey, I won't tell you not to. That sounds like a fun time to me. Voltaic Brawler coming on down. We're going to get 2 energy. It is the 3-2 for 2, which already sounds good, but become a 4-3 for Trample, or with Trample, for the low cost of some of that sweet, sweet energy. You're watching from the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. You probably need a... Ooh. No, enjoying Standard ain't a problem. You keep enjoying Standard. It's a cool format, and it's doing cool stuff, and keep doing what you do. Otherwise, we are going to take down that Voltaic Brawler with an immolating glare, going up to the 3rd mana, the other Voltaic Brawler out. Interesting that if Carl has the Skywheeler shot, and I think I would have preferred that if he fired off during his main phase, because that may have prevented something like a... I don't think that he's given the proper respect to something like a Blossoming Defense. Looks like we don't have one in hand, so it's not going to punish us at all. Randon also does seem to have a natural state in hand. I'm a little bit curious about what he's looking to fire off with. I think that natural state came in to take down some of the Stasis Snare. Otherwise, taking it down. 4 mana available. We do have the Torrential Gearhulk in hand. We've got a counterspell. We weren't able to answer that Hydra just yet. Might be trying to go with something like the Deccan Stone. Doesn't look incredible. There is 6 energy on Brandon's side of the field, so it's going to have a hard time firing that off in a really substantial way. Hello, hey Solidazen. Huh. Okay. And it looks like we are going to fire off this Zada. No luck there. We're going to hit for 4. It's just me, Brandon. I actually pretty distinctly disagree with the fact that the thought that Pummel decks take no skill. Yeah, I would have to disagree. But we're all entitled to our opinions. Looks like we've gotten a Attune with Ether available. That's not doing a whole lot. The biggest thing that we have right now is just the fact that we can keep firing this off and expect that Carl will never ever remove it, because anything that he tries to put in towards that effort is going to be countered by the Hexproof ability. So now he's functionally just racing Carl's either ability to use a Blessed Alliance, which he doesn't have one currently. A Linvala is going to come on down. That's going to be pretty nice for gaining a little bit of life, going up to 17. That's right. Whoa, wait, did we just get a resub that I didn't see? Because if so, I really appreciate it. I don't think that I saw a thing for it. So I apologize if for some reason I missed it. But thank you so much. That is amazing. I love that the hat now puts down a lightning bolt. Oh, man. That's... Did you resub? Thank you. Thank you. Ah. Man. Man. Thank you so much. So Linvala comes down, we gain some life. We don't get the token because it is just a 1-for-1. However, it is going to block fine. It does force Rain to start using that ability to start pumping it if he wants to start getting aggressive at all. And it looks like we do now have the Torrential Gear Hulk online. Not a whole lot to do with it at the moment because of that Torrential Gear Hulk isn't... there are not a whole lot of instances that are at least relevant to the board as it currently sits. Toad, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Man. Ooh, look at everybody doing. Everybody's from Oklahoma, apparently. Hello to all of Oklahoma. Looks like we're going to attack back. Carl is going to drop in a Torrential Gear Hulk. And just going to fire off the Skywhaler shot. I think this is just an effort to force him to start utilizing some of that mana. We're going to go for the block as well. Man, sorry about those. We didn't really drop frames, per se. At least it didn't show us dropping frames. I think we just hit a little bit of a struggle there in our ability to process. We are working on acquiring a second computer. Okay. Ooh, that sounds sweet. Very cool, phenomenal. That sounds awesome. Hey, Nathan Kaiser, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's awesome having you here. We just got a hit for 5 from Linvala, and that hit for 5 was for you. She is your champion right now. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for hitting that follow button. It does mean the world to me. I look forward to seeing you more in the future. Morikatsu, I didn't actually. Dylan was sick. I was just running the store in his stead to keep things running and make sure that we had a modern tournament to do a modern stream at all. We've got another Hydra coming down. That's not going to be enough, and this Linvala is going to close the game out. Briven. Hey, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Briven. I do really appreciate you coming back. If you ever do have any questions, I really, definitely toss it in there. And the chat is extremely helpful. We'd love to help you out in any way that we can. Retard, I wasn't feeling bad at all. I feel great. Last week was really weird for me, but I'm feeling good from just recovering from. It wasn't even like being sick. It was a week that I don't know. It was just one of those ones where nothing goes wrong, but nothing feels spot on, you know. So I do feel much better from that. But overall, Dylan's the one who was sick, and he's feeling much better. So I am very excited about that. It was weird to not be playing or streaming last weekend. I was just running the tournament and getting everything done that way. But let's go ahead and head back up to the booth, and we'll see about getting you another match. I hope that we can get you one. But in the meantime, let's talk about Tezzeret. We'll see you up there. Thank you, everybody, for joining. My name's TJ. This is the Geek Fortress stream. I'm joined by Narset, who seems to be slapping me on the back of the head. You stop that. You stop that right now. She's just really trying to push me to the get out of my comfort zone. She's trying to get me up there. Jim Kodo, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's awesome. Thank you, Morikatsu. And thank you, Retoid. I am also pleased that I'm doing better. She wants to high five. Got it. But I'm glad that I'm feeling better as well. I think it was just, sometimes you just have those weeks, and we'll go forward with it, and we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun with it. But if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that follow button. Join us 4 times a week. Of course, you do have the option if you have... I think I just lagged. But I didn't drop frames again. Ooh, we need to get that other computer. We need to get that other computer. But, oh, that's right. Just let me rest my head. Just let me rest my head. You do have the option, if you have both the means and the inclination, to hit that subscribe button. Help us out in that monetary fashion. It gives you access to those emotes. It gets you access to that, to the Discord that we have. Plus, it gives you a badge, and hopefully it makes you feel good for helping us out. It makes me feel good for being helped out. Why do I think Ashiok is back? Because I think that Ashiok is out exploring how to become a god on Theros as an agent of the Nicobolas. And I think that Nicobolas is researching ways to become a god with the intent of gaining that ability to further his own power. She also does seem to have some Nicobolas horns in the really close-up of the art. I would not be surprised if she was part of that kind of new Nicobolas Legion of Doom, so to speak, that includes Tezzeret as well. So, I would. That's kind of where I'm at there. I don't actually have a picture of the new Tezzeret, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that, Bites in Flight. Hopefully someone can link it for me, that I would be allowed that. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Let's go ahead and talk about Tezzeret. What was it? Sneaky Spy was the first translation, but it's actually, I think, the Schemer. You'll send you a question in a PM after you stream in regards to the second computer. Hey, that's awesome. I do appreciate that. So let's talk. Hey, Hoon, it's good to see ya. Tezzeret, the Sneaky Spy. Tezzeret, the Schemer. Tezzeret, 4 mana, 2, a blue, and a black. 4 mana Planeswalker, starts off with 5 loyalty. So, Karatorn, I already agree with you there. 5 loyalty is already... No, Ashiok didn't get spoiled. I think the Ashiok will be in the story, not on a card. I should clarify, I'm sorry. Hey, Coleman, it's good to see you. So 5 loyalty to kick it off. We do have a +1. That is pretty solid. You get the +1. Create a colorless artifact token named Ethereum Cell. With tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 color of any mana to your color pool. It's okay. It's not whelming by any means. I wouldn't call myself underwhelmed or overwhelmed. The big thing is that it does allow you to untap the turn after you cast him and have access to theoretically 7 mana by plussing again, by having your 5th land drop. That becomes a really potent force. Also, if you find yourself in a format with 1 mana removal, then I think that it is a significantly better card. So I think that this card is better outside of Standard. Maybe even Frontier. But if you are in a format in which 1 mana removal exists, much better. Otherwise, you can use it for a little bit. You might be able to save it. You know, maybe you don't look at this as a 4 mana Planeswalker, or a turn 4 Planeswalker, I should say. Maybe you look at this as a Planeswalker that comes down a little bit later into the game. Maybe a control card. Maybe you end up looking into this like standard Tezzerator, where you drop it in, maybe into turn 6, turn 7, when you're able to utilize that in addition to some other stuff. Maybe you go for a sweeper effect there. -2. Actually, I think that the -2 is one of the best abilities on him. Plus, target creature gets +X, -X, until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. I think that actually is probably the best ability on him. I think that if you start getting into a world with maybe clues, I'm not sure, there's not really a great amount of blue-black. But having the versatility to be both a removal spell is really big, in addition to a potential pump spell, is always solid. Hi.
Hello, is there any other matches going on, or is you just...
If you'd like to get one, I'm more than happy to have one.
Okay. I don't know if there's anybody available, but I'll check.
Cool, thanks. Hey, DFrench86, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's awesome having you. So, here he is 2 upticks away from game ending in the right deck. Sure. This one, you get a +X, -X. It becomes a decent way to close the game out. Maybe you end up using that on something like a Torrential Gearhulk. And actually, he can pair decently well with a Torrential Gearhulk. Otherwise, he uses a removal spell. And, really big here, Tezzeret can come down, -kill something, -kill something, and then plus again. And that's really big. I think that having the minus ability usable twice in a row and still surviving is actually a surprisingly potent ability. And then the ults decently quickly. If you can protect it with that, that's okay. I think that is an ability that actually closes the game out decently well, but it strikes me as an ability that might be a little bit more defensive at first, and then you end up crushing it down. So I like the new Tezzeret. I think that the Tezzeret... I'm not going to speak to power level. That's hard for me to speak to because, again, it's all contextual. I don't think that there's a deck that Tezzeret obviously slots into, and maybe Tezzeret isn't even good enough to create a deck around him. But it is very possible for that deck to exist once we know where all the chips are going to fall. So let's talk a little bit about what I like about Tezzeret from a design standpoint. And I love that Tezzeret is not a Gideon. I love that Tezzeret doesn't get slammed into every blue-black deck for the entirety of the standard season. I love that Tezzeret doesn't have plus card advantage, minus removal, ult, some way to, like, not technically be game ending, but make it to your opponent doesn't get to play the game. I love a lot of things about Tezzeret. Tezzeret is sweet design-wise. I love that it creates tokens. I love that it does an interesting thing with the plus ability. I love that it's not so... I think that if there is a world in which Tezzeret is good, Tezzeret will be great in the decks that are for Tezzeret. I think that Tezzeret is going to be awesome in the artifact decks that want him. And you could even go so far as to say that Tezzeret is a great card. And yet, Tezzeret won't be jammed into every deck in his colors for the entire season. That's awesome. I am tired of the cards which are so good that, this card isn't good. Well, sure, but the good ones are played in everything, and that's boring. Gideon's boring. He's good, but Spino's Captor is good, but it's boring. Emrakul is good, but he's boring. Ishkana is good, but it's boring.
Do you have deck names?
Nope, I don't even know who's playing.
Andrew Johnson, white black midrange. I'm playing your black Delirium.
Who's on what side?
I'm on the wall.
And you're on the Delirium?
Yes.
Thank you. Alright, so we've got another match. Okay, so we've got John Monk jumping onto the table again, this time with a little bit of a different deck. And he's going to be up against a black-white mid-range deck. And it's going to be up against the green-black Delirium. Alright. And what have we got? Gideon is the new Siege Rhino. Kind of, you hate emblems? I don't mind emblems at all, actually. I don't know. Okay. Too bad Investigate. I mean, he's a build-around, but he needs to be good enough to build around. I just don't know. I just don't know. Maeve, you're not here, and that's no one's fault except yours. So, I don't know. The big thing is that there are cards that are so interesting conceptually, but the fact that they're everywhere makes them boring. And that's my problem with some cards. I like that any time that I see this card, it will be interesting in where it is. So, that's what I like. And maybe won't be incredible. Fine. Fine. That's fine. I don't need it to be incredible. Alright, so let's go ahead and set up this matchup. Let's head on down. Let's watch some Magic. I'll see you all down there. And it looks like we've got a turn one's planes from Andrew kicking things off. We're going to start off with a Vessel with John. Now, the Vessel is a pretty nice tool. It is going to help him enable that Delirium. We might be dropping into almost a... when does Battle for Zendikar rotate? I don't know. They've switched it up enough to where I don't want to speak to it. I think that it's Amonkhet, but I honestly don't even remember at this point. So, Sylvan Advocate coming down, looking on still, trying to assemble that way to apply pressure. Not looking to pop that Vessel just yet because we can't fully take advantage of it. Otherwise, that is looking pretty nice. A Transgress the Mind. Maybe you go tap lane Transgress the Mind. I don't really think that you need the grapple yet, so you swing for the 2, and you try to assemble, because now that Andrew is going to be untapping and heading into turn 3, Transgress actually gains a pretty good amount of value, and you can start taking away either the turn 3 play, which acts as the pseudo tempo, if Andrew doesn't have any others, but it looks like actually John is looking to go instead with this nothing. Interesting. That's a little bit surprising. Andrew stuck on the land drops, however, so doesn't need to worry too much about it just yet. Yeah, I do know that it was left up last time. I do know that it has been, that it was left up, and that's okay. Talk to Maeve about that. That's right.
I got nothing to do.
Alright, so the Grimflayer on the battlefield sitting with this vessel as well. We did end up losing our Sylvan Advocate to an Immolating Glare. We did finally get a black mana on Andrew's side of the battlefield.
I just played a couple games with John's Black-Green Delirium deck, and all it did is make me want to rebuild Black-Green. The deck is so much fun.
Right? It's so cool.
It feels so good. And your picture gets to be a giant spider.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
pretty good, too.
The spider, the art on that one is pretty good.
Yeah, I like that
It
one.
has more tiny arms than I expected. Huh.
Really?
Yeah, do you see there's 4 tiny arms underneath the... Yeah.
Probably to scoop up all the little 1-2s.
Come here.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
Let me give you guys a hug.
You're coming with me. Hello.
So the Thalia is looking pretty solid. If John isn't able to achieve Delirium, then he's going to have a hard time swinging into this. The first strike on that Thalia is pretty relevant. So maybe this is either the coolest play or the
Yeah, you know exactly what he's doing.
popping the vessel in response to a block. But that's like
I'm
risky.
Setting up there. Oh.
That's super risky. Melvin, it's good to see you.
You have tiny arms. Well, then you'll get scooped up by Ishkanah too. That's okay.
Oh, okay. Grasp also looks pretty good.
Yeah. Champions.
Mm-hmm. Looks like we might just take the land and let this... I think this gets us to Delirium.
That was risky.
Taking the Planeswalker actually makes it trade. Yep, that is enough for Delirium. So I think that puts us to exactly 4 different card types. And
I don't think he blocked anyway.
No, he didn't. Otherwise, I think he had a Grasp in hand.
Yeah,
and so
that's what I was. Yeah.
deal 2 because
Yep.
of Trample.
The grasp is Trample's good.
Trample.
Remember top 5. Trample's got to be on there.
Oh, that's right. That was with you that we had that conversation.
Yep,
Trample,
yeah.
one of the most underrated abilities that there
Trample's
is.
very good.
We've got Ailey coming down.
Did he miss it?
Did we miss what?
Oh, someone said he missed the Grimflayer trigger.
I think that he... Actually, you're right. He may have. I think you're right.
I won't say anything.
Well, we don't do mistriggers. We just do illegal game actions.
I know, but I was going to yell at him.
Oh.
Or at least give him a for shame.
Yeah.
John knows better than that. He's a judge.
Yell at him later.
Alright.
Melvin, thank you so much for joining.
Someone just walked in.
Alright, go have fun. So that Ailey is acting as a death touch, and that's kind of nice. So, looks like we are going to grapple with the past. We might end up taking back. Looks like we get a creature or land. Going for the land. This does give us the ability we could actually grapple or use the Grasp of Darkness on the Ailey Pilgrim. And the big thing about that is because it has that death touch, it means that it's really, you may get in for the 1 damage with this Grimflayer, but you end up losing it. So I might end up prioritizing that one. Or it is, actually it's -2, -1. So actually you drop down the Liliana. Plus that on the Ailey, it becomes a 0/2, which is fine, because you're either hitting for 2 or you're hitting for 4, and that becomes a really good situation to be in. And you also aren't too worried about if Andrew tries to attack in at this Liliana. It's either an attack all out, which doesn't work out too well, plus you've got removal as a backup for the following turn, or, yeah, I quite like this one. I like this a lot. It's a swing for 4. We've got a 0/2 in the way. Probably doesn't block here. I don't know. And it looks like we're just going to go for the chump block. I'm not too sure how much I like that. Okay. So I think because it is the 0 power, I think that he may be deciding instead not to. Okay. So we are going to take the 4. And it looks like we've got this trigger. We do have a Kalitas in hand. We're just going to keep the Kalitas on top by the look of it. And let's see what we get next turn. Andrew could take down this Liliana, but then John gets to untap, looking like he's in a pretty good position. He left a Kalitas on top, which is going to be a really nice way to go about things. Start to keep track of that Emrakul count for card types, because we do have 6 of them in the battlefield. Grimflayer is quite good. I think you're correct. I think there was a land in a Kalitas. He put 1 into the graveyard. Might have been going for the land so he could just do some part of the game plan. Hey, Bryce, were you not following before? Thanks for hitting the follow button. Thanks, B-Proxy. And it looks like, oh, we're trying to enable the Noxious Gearhulk this turn. So we take the land for the Noxious Gearhulk, which comes into play tapped, and then you drop down the Kalitas the following turn. Interesting that we're taking down the Death Touching one, of all things. Or, I'm sorry, you just take down the one that makes them enter tapped. I guess the Death Touch isn't super relevant right now. You plus that up because you do still have a 0-2 on the other side. Bryce, that's funny. That is funny. But thank you so much. Oh, man. Would Gearhulk hit the board tapped? Yes. Yes, it is. And we are going to untap it now as we head into this turn. Now we have the Kalitas. We do have an Emrakul in hand. We've also got 6 mana plus 6 types. 1 more land actually gets us to casting an Emrakul, or if he's able to actually attack in, what I think John might do, he's going to attack in, offering the Death Touch before he pluses this. Because if he double blocks this, kills the Noxious Gearhulk, this actually gives him an artifact in the graveyard. It's got Menace, so he actually needs to block with both. If he does, he loses this. It becomes an artifact in the graveyard. That puts him to 7 types plus 6 lands, and it means that he can actually cast the Emrakul. Or, on the flip side, he deals 5 and knocks Andrew down to 5. So, John has got to like his position in this particular spot. Hey, Don't, it's good to see you. We are going to go for it. This is going to put us up to the 7th type in the graveyard, and we're going to slam down an Emrakul. And we still have got the Liliana to use this turn. That was great by John. Absolutely love it. Let's plus this one up. And we're going to take Andrew's turn for him. You know what? Andrew's looking a little bit tired. Let me help you out. Let me get you some of these draws. We're going to take a look. We do have a Bygone Bishop, a Kumbal, Consulate of Allocation. There's actually not a whole lot going on in this hand that John can actually disrupt with. You've got an Essence Extraction that you could fire off, but for almost no, it's even got protection from instants, so you can't do that. John actually can't do almost anything with this. I think he just passed the turn back. Oh no! Andrew's having such a rough time that he can't even disable himself by casting some of these cards. Oh, that's a rough spot to be in. So we're going to drop down the Bygone Bishop. And see what we can do. And a 3-of an Inspector. Forgot to save that. Whoops. And we attack in for... Oh, that didn't go as well as I had hoped. It was supposed to be a Bygone Bishop. Now we save. And we're going to attack for 13 in the air. That's fine. It gets enough over. It gets 10 over exactly, which is where Andrew's at. I know. It's not set up for only one person. There's also at Red Baron MTG at, which, of course, trying to do a little self-plug, feel free to follow me on Twitter at Red Baron MTG. You can also hit follow on the stream. Alright, let's see what I can do here. Yeah, I do. Andrew's deck has showed up before. It's been able to do some pretty cool stuff. And it just didn't quite go where we were hoping it to. Did not go well for Andrew. Kept 2 lands. And, you know, maybe that was supposed to be a mulligan, but it just didn't go there. You're a fan of any deck that can run Sorin? I can get that. I can get behind that. Let's see what else I can do here. Can I do that? Let's see what works on this system and what doesn't. Nice. we go. There we go. Follow him. Boot to the head. It's going well. It's going well. Hello to everybody who is following. Always feel free to hit that follow button. Join us more in the future. And of course, there's always the option of hitting that sub button. It does mean the world to me. We're currently sitting right at about 143 subscribers. And you know what? That's far and above anything that I ever, hoped to have. But of course, right now the goal is always to try and get 5 per stream. We're currently at 2 for this stream, and I would certainly love and appreciate the support from anybody who does want to take part in that and help contribute to us. Any of that stuff that's coming in, we're putting it into that production value. Jingading Dangdo, first of all, Jingading, it's been so wild. Thank you so much for the sub. That is incredible. Let's get some sub hype. But also, if you haven't yet, follow Jingading Dangdo. He is an awesome player. Very cool. It's been a while since I've seen him. Welcome back. He just wants the Blood Moon? Sure, but honestly, Jing, it's been a while since I've seen you. How are you doing? How's California been? Thank you for the support. And let me know what your favorite deck to play is, but I think that I've got a hint as to what it might be. Look at all those emotes. Let's get some emote hype. Thank you so much for getting us 3 out of 5 there. It's been so while. It's been so while. You've been busy? Hey, I can get that, but thank you so much. The support does mean the world to us. We've got some things to we've got some plans for what to do with that. Ways that we can improve the stream. Currently, I'm not even taking any of it. So we're just putting it all towards doing more cool stuff for all of you. So the 3-man inspector is coming down. We do have an Ishkan in hand. We do have a Darkness looking to drop down. Looks like we're just gonna crack this again. Darth Watson with the follow. Thank you so much. Either Jund. Nice. All right. I can dig both of those. Hey, SWAT Kid 33, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's awesome having you. Welcome to the hypiest stream on the Magic Twitch page. My name is TJ. I will be your hype master tonight and pretty much almost every night. And we will be having some fun here. Thank you so much. We do the stream 4 times a week. Every Monday at 6:30 we stream standard. That's Pacific time. It's currently about 8:16 p.m. here in the Pacific Northwest. Plus, we have got... what? Boot with the sub. It didn't show up. Why didn't it show up? But Boot, look at you with the sub. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That is awesome. Thank you so very much. When's the 6th emote? I don't know. I think we need to repatch it out. It should be showing up soon. I apologize that we haven't got it yet. It's been quite a time for us, so we're trying to get there. We're trying to get there for you. Thanks, Boot to the head. Boop 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 boop. But yeah, I don't know. Do I actually get to take that? Do I get to take that title? Do I get to be the hypiest stream in Magic? So the 3-man inspector looking down here. It's also got the constellation. Man, this is a rough hand. We're not hitting land drops. You're not sure you like main phased Anguished? I mean, if you pass the turn, the problem is that then John gets an activation out of it. And that doesn't feel good. So, I think that if you're going to hit a Planeswalker, you do it on your turn. Because otherwise, you're basically giving them an extra turn with that card. It's not the fact that it's attacking. And... looks like we're going to Essence Extraction the Grim Flare. We're going to attack for 1, and we're going to look okay. Man, we did get 3 life out of it, however. My energy competes with a young Randy Bueller. It's the lightning! It's the Essence Extraction! And we've got another Anguish in making now. This one is enabling an attack for 1. We can get in after this one. We're going to knock down to 19, and hey, you know what? There's always the chance that, that Andrew takes this game over the course of the next 18 turns by just plugging away with this 3-man inspector. You never know. It might get there. And if John doesn't do a whole lot, he's going to run into a tight spot. Has to crack this vessel now. Not doing too well here. The Liliana looks okay. I might take the Tireless Tracker. I've been hitting my land drops okay. It allows me to start outdrawing this, but it looks like we're instead going to try and make sure that we hit those land drops. Trying to enable the Ishkana is, I believe, the game plan there. It's your 5th land drop. It means that you can play out, oh, you have a Tireless Tracker in hand, so maybe drop down the Tireless Tracker now. Next turn, you've got the Ishkana, you've got the Vessel of Nascency, you've got the Grasp of Darkness. A lot of good plays on the horizon for John. Andrew hits the 4th land drop, but it does come into play tapped. Mana's been a problem for Andrew so far. That is unfortunate. Did Andrew hit some life gain? Yes, it was the Essence Extraction. Let me go ahead and show you that card. He didn't have a land in hand. Got the land off of that. Kiara Warren, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's awesome having you. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, evening, night, whatever it is. Let us know where you're watching from and how you found out about the stream. And we're going to drop down the Ishkana. Getting 3 of those super spoopy spiders, which are going to be pretty fine against this Kumbal, which is otherwise looking pretty good on his own. Come on, whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. I think pretty good against decks that aren't John. It does some pretty cool stuff. It might be a little bit better outside the context of Standard, but against something like Carl's blue-white control deck, it starts looking pretty solid here. And we're going to get to take a peek. Pretty much just the Ishkana. Otherwise, it's 2 Grasp of Darkness and a Vessel. So we're going to take the Ishkana. We're going to exile that one. Boot. Watching from Atlanta. Yes. Okay. Where you be watching from? Where you be watching from? You're always. I'm pretty much only on mobile as well. Though 3 more packages showed up for me today of my computer. I might actually be able to assemble it tomorrow. So that's super exciting, right? A friend of yours got you into Magic. You play casually, told about us. You're from Massachusetts, and it's midnight. Well, thank you so much for joining. I hope you are enjoying it. Thank you for joining us at midnight of all times. That's cool. That's very cool. From Massachusetts. Goodness, yeah, that's getting late. It's almost midnight, I think. Oh, yeah. My hope is to maybe start streaming in the new year. I think that's the current game plan. And we're going to swing for all out for 9. Knocking down to 10. What happened to me, TJ? Smurfykins, 3 more packages of my computer showed up. So I think that I have everything. I think almost everything showed up. The last of it should show up tomorrow right around noon. And I'll be able to toss it all together. And then I'll spend maybe tomorrow or possibly Wednesday, Thursday putting it together. And Deccan Stone for spiders and didn't cast it. Might just be waiting for something else. I don't know. New computer means personal streaming or playing. So I will be playing MTGO, and actually I am going to start streaming MTGO anytime that I play it. It won't have a consistent schedule. Sometimes it'll be for, half an hour as I've got some time. I think, oh, I'll play another match. I'll just turn it on, and anytime that I happen to be playing MTGO, I'll just fire up the stream as well, is kind of what my thought process is. I can't really guarantee a consistent schedule right now. 25 hours a week is all... 20... It's probably closer to 20 at the moment, but 20 hours a week is already a lot. And the Deccan Stone is going to take down those spiders. We do still have a 3/5, a couple of clues, and a Tireless Tracker, which can really increase its power over time. We've got 6 right now, and if we're going to pop 2 of those, it'll actually become 8 power. Slow hands, I'd love that. If you ever find your way out to Snohomish, Washington, located in the Pacific Northwest, I'd love to meet you and play some games with you. We're going to crack 1 clue. We're turning this into a swing for 7. Do we have any kind of way to increase the pressure this turn? I don't think so. I don't think that we have the Hissing Quagmire to bash in with. But it looks like we're just going to play some lands and maybe try and go for it this way. I actually will start playing Frontier, likely. Hey, Paul, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. My intent is to play some Frontier. And we're going to swing down to 1. Rough spot. Andrew needs something. Well, that's something. Should have plussed. Should have plussed. Should have plussed, but I don't think it matters at this point. Just attack for 3, call it a day. Or you go for the... He's gonna play the Emrakul and pass the turn and plus the Onyxless. Oh man. Wait, I changed my tune on Frontier? I did. I don't know. I mean, I may not play it a ton. I'll try it. But in watching some people play it, I think the format's got a little bit more than I thought. I certainly don't think... I think that it's unnecessary still. I don't think that the format is needed, but it looks fun. Plus is the Onyxless for the win. John for the Rubbins. Oh, man. Oh, man. That is brutal, John. Brutal. Not swing with the Ishkana. Taking over the turn and plus the Onyxless for the kill. I'll try it. The problem is that the format doesn't look bad. Like, I haven't seen it awful. Maybe it will reveal some problems, and in that case, like, you know. But for now, I have nothing against the format. It might end up being sweet. Troll just for the stream? Oh, of course. Of course. Of course it's just for the stream. Man. You gotta get them sometimes. You gotta get them. Alright, I'm not sure if they're gonna play another game for us, or if they're gonna, or if we're done with this particular one. Alright, and let's head on up to the booth. I'll see you up here. We'll try and get some more magic. The players will let me know if we get it. Hello, and thank you so much for joining. It's, oh, nice, Smurfykins. I like the style there as well. But thank you, everybody who is joining. My name's TJ. You're watching the Geek Fortress stream. We're doing some Standard tonight, having a bit of a rough time, like many stores across, well, everywhere. Standard's having a little bit of a rough time with this current rotation. While the format offers a lot for people who want to brew, the fact of the matter is that this is possibly, I don't know, it's one of the least thrilling Standard environments that has existed in a while. And it's really easy to disagree with that and bring up your own points and how you disagree. But I'm going purely based on the fact that Standard is hurting everywhere. And while I can certainly appreciate the format from how it looks, it's kind of fun, there's cool things happening, there's cool cards, there's cool interactions, the big thing is that people aren't playing it, and it's hard to argue with that. So, I don't know. It's in a rough spot. So we're just making it happen, but we also stream Modern every Wednesday at 7 and Saturday at 6. Theros was my favorite Standard environment ever. I think Theros was great. Standard was... tons of people played Standard. There was a lot of different decks. Sure, there were some powerful decks, and Thoughtseers wasn't super fun to play against. I didn't mind it, though. I had a ton of fun playing it that time. And while it certainly had its problems, attendance was up, people were playing it, people were having fun with it, there were cool things to do, and you could play control, you could play aggro, you could play mid-range, you could play combo. There were things to do. USMNT, hello, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining. So, is it? Yes, it is worse than Theros Days. Absolutely, it's worse than Theros Days. Because Theros was played. Theros was sweet. This store had maybe 20 people, 20, 25 people consistently for every Standard tournament, which it was even like a pretty small store at the time, so that was substantial. I think it was almost 20 for like most events, and that was right when the store was first opening, so that was substantial. Standard was sweet at that time. There was a lot of cool stuff to be doing. Theros RTR Standard was not great. No, that's the one that I'm talking about. Theros RTR was my favorite Standard set ever. Love it. That was my favorite. It got way better with Born of the Gods and Journey into Nyx, but that was my favorite Standard environment. Now, to be fair, I I didn't play during Innistrad Ravnica, so obviously I may have enjoyed that one more. But that's the one that I look back on with the most fond nostalgia. So, I don't know. I look forward to Standard getting there one day. Oh, we also have a Legacy stream on Fridays at 7:30. Be sure to hit tune in for that one. And really just hit that follow button because it means the world to us. It's super cool to have you all here. The fact that we have somehow managed to get to 5,100 followers, and we're exactly there right now, is incredible. To all 122 of you, thank you so much for joining. To the 145 subscribers, thank you so much. We have gotten 4 of our goal for 5 for the day, so I guess one more, getting to 146, would just be the way the most perfect way to finish out this stream. We're going to try and get a little bit more Standard out there. If they do, we'll put it on there for you. I'm not entirely sure, but in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I don't know, I don't really want to do 20 questions. That one's more to fill time, and we might be filling more time, and we'd end up doing more. But if you have any conversation points, I'd love to talk about those ones. I can certainly find my own as we start discussing some other stuff, and we'll see what we can do. Otherwise, if you happen to have any questions for myself, questions about the stream, questions about Magic, questions or just things that you'd like me to talk about, then I am absolutely happy to give them my best whack, so to speak. A noggin whack, if you will. New spoiler? Which new spoiler? Do you mean Tezzeret? We kind of talked about Tezzeret. Are we talking about other spoilers? Let's go ahead and talk about other spoilers. Sure. The 4 mana... Okay, so 3 and a blue. Human Artificer, 2/3. Creature. When Quicksmith Spy enters the battlefield... think if I start... So actually, fun fact, streaming MTGO will not be on this account. I think that the people who follow and subscribe to this account aren't doing it for me. They're not doing it to watch me play MTGO. They're doing it because they're following a store which plays its own kind of thing, which does the live Magic. I will actually be doing... The card is pretty hilarious, the Howling Mine. That's fair. But I'll actually be doing it from my Twitch account. It'll be twitch.tv/RedBaronMTG, which, if you want to proactively follow it, always feel free to. But Quicksmith Spy enters... Yep. When it enters the battlefield, target artifact you control gains tap, draw a card. About the LGS. Currently play both MTG and X-Wing. X-Wing popular down south, not really played up here in Mount Vernon. We have a small group that plays X-Wing. Dylan would be able to speak to it better than I could, but there is a small group of people who play X-Wing. The game is awesome. I've had the opportunity to play it once or twice. I really have enjoyed it, and it's a lot of fun. That's not right. Don't follow that one. But we do have some people. I'd love to have one more person interested. Maybe since you're coming from Mount Vernon, we can try and coordinate it a little bit, just so that we can make sure that you're coming down. There'll be someone who is able to play with you. But I'd love to have you join us sometime. I'd be certainly down if you have extra pieces to lend them to me. Get in touch with me sometime. I'd be happy to try playing a game with you. I'll be honest with you, I'm not that good at it. But I'd happily hang out, play some X-Wing with you. You went on Altart of Tezzeret, Master of Metal, where he's holding a... I'm not entirely sure what that is. I'm going to assume it's some sort of instrument. You have about 2 or 3? I mean, if you want to bring like 2 or 3 down, that would be awesome. X-Wing is it's a game that was made by Fantasy Flight, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe it was made by Fantasy Flight. It's a live kind of real-time strategy kind of thing, turn-based. I guess not real-time. It's a turn-based strategy game where you're actually in the middle of a dogfight, and you can do maneuvers with your ships. And in some games, you can even put like asteroids on. You have to maneuver where you choose your moves before the turns are taken, so that the turns are kind of taken simultaneously. And then you know, based on the speed, you're the way to go there, and you end up kind of trying to make these predictions on how you're gonna, you know, you go for a roll, or you go for this turn, you go for something, trying to both get into a position to take them, but also you want to, you know, you don't want to be too anticipated because they'll be able to take. You want to anticipate both their moves and your own. Doro, that is the correct one. So if you do want to follow that channel, I'd certainly appreciate it. I suppose having a little bit of a head start on my channel would mean a pretty substantial amount. I have not done anything on there up to this point, but I certainly appreciate the people. Oddly enough, I'm at 44 followers, and I've never done a stream in my life, but that is where I will be streaming. So thank you for that. But, Quicksmith Spy gives something, tap, draw a card, for as long as you control Quicksmith Spy. It's okay. It's a 2/3 for 4. It'll be pretty good and limited, I think. I can't promise that. I think that it's pretty meh from a constructed standpoint. 4 mana for a 2/3 that lets you draw a card with one of your other resources isn't great. So, not thrilled there. Oath of Ajani, I think, is fantastic. I'm not sure how fantastic, but I think that Oath of Ajani does this really cool thing, which is that oftentimes when you look at these impactful cards, you gotta think, well, it's a 2 mana card, but it's underwhelming at the beginning, or it's underwhelming at the late game. Think of some of the oaths which are just almost worthless in the late game, or some of them are actually pretty underwhelming if you don't have a Planeswalker. But this Oath of Ajani is really interesting, because if you have it as your turn 2 play, it can really curve into some other interesting plays. It can curve into, theoretically, a turn 2 Nissa, or a 2 mana Nissa, which allows you to make another 2 mana play. It can, ooh, I don't know why it's popping from time to time, I'm sorry. You can also enable a turn 3 Gideon. It can enable, you know, a variety of other plays. So that's a great way for it to act as this kind of turn 2 play if you don't have a whole lot else going. But even if you've already played out your Planeswalkers, even if you've already played out your creatures, then it becomes this great play at the late game of just, you know, suddenly it's an anthem in the late game. I think that that card is excellent. It's super cool. I think that it's solid. Consulate, hey, BA Supreme, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's awesome having you. You are a rock star, and I look forward to seeing you more in the future. Consulate, Crackdown. When it enters, exile all artifacts your opponents control. You know what? It's at least a step into being able to hate out artifacts, but I don't think it's good enough. It's 5 mana. Meh. It's not going to be played outside of Standard, and I'm not sure if it'll be worth playing in Standard. If there's anything cheaper and more selective, that will likely become it. Turn 3 Gideon, I'm not thinking big enough? Fair enough, you got me there. Pia's Revolution. Garbage card. Moving on. Disallow. Sweet. Awesome. Love that card. That card's going to be sweet. Counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. Strictly Bitter Void Slime. Able to take down things on the Marvel. I've talked about it before, but I think that a counter spell, which is also able to interact with the battlefield, the big downside to counter spells is that they're worthless if you're dying to what's on the board. This at least gives you a small way to interact with what's already out there. So, I like that a lot. Otherwise, you've got Dark Imitations. Turn 3 Chandra? Yeah. Oh, so you go turn 3 Oath of, nice. Turn 3 Oath of Nissa. Turn 2 Oath of Ajani. Turn 3 Chandra plus RR. Cast a Nissa, make a plant. Sure, I'm digging that. I can totally dig that. Oh, that's a good point. Only good thing about Constant Crackdown is it doesn't get hit by Spellcaller. Sure. You say that Pia's Revolution is garbage, but you promise that will get played in Modern? No, it won't. That card's still garbage in Modern. Really, really bad in Modern. Really, really bad. Not good enough in Eggs. They already have a win condition. Eggs is not looking for more win conditions. Eggs is looking to go off more consistently. Pia's Revolution has nothing to do with that. Affinity, never going to get played in Affinity. It's garbage there. Anytime that Pia's Revolution becomes good, you're already winning. So, awful there. Pia's Revolution, bad card. I will absolutely eat my humble pie when I become wrong. Sure, but I won't be. That card's awful. Card is just bad. It's not getting limited. It's not getting constructed. You playing it doesn't make it Modern playable. It makes it played in Modern, and that's not the same. Yeah, that card is just bad. You can disagree with me all you want, but Pia's Revolution will never ever get played in anything other than playing it for the sake of playing it, and it won't even be good. How many cards does it take to make a humble pie? You know what? I'm not going to promise it, but if it becomes actually playable, I will consider eating a copy of it. Consider, I'm not making a promise. Not making a promise. Not making a promise. Disallow Sweet. Dark Imitations is much more significant for what it's hinting at. Let's see here. We've got Battle at the Bridge is, I think, sweet. That's awesome. Card's still bad, slowly crashing. Heart of Kirin is interesting and I think playable. And my first reaction was, thank goodness they finally made a way to where Smuggler's Copter isn't dominating the format, because they made a 4/4 for 2 with Flying and Vigilance. Tezzeret Master of Metal is meh. Ajani Valiant Protector is meh. Ajani Unyielding is, I think, pretty decently medium. Could be good, depending on context. Spray, I do play. What would I bring to a high competitive environment? I would personally play Burn. Sometimes if I were to play in a tournament tomorrow, the options that I would play it would be Infect, Affinity, Burn as the main ones. XC, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. My backups would be Green-Red Titan Shift and 8-Rack. And then I would put a pretty decent amount of consideration into putting either Scred. Actually, no, Scred. Scred would actually be in the first one. So it'd be Burn, Affinity, Scred, Infect, backup 8-Rack and Green-Red Scape Shift. And I would actually put a decent amount of thought into, it's just a matter of do I want to put in the effort of putting it together, of putting together a Lantern Control, if I think that that's the right environment. You still think 6-mana Tez is not bad? Sure. That doesn't make it thrilling. 6-mana Tezzeret is not great. Not at all. Because it's 6 mana. And 6 mana is bad. And you can tell me that it's so close to Agent of Bolas and tell me that that's an excuse for the card to be good. But it's not. Because it's 6 mana. And that's way different. Way different than 4 mana. 6 mana is closer. Like, 6 mana isn't even a turn 6 play. Especially if you're putting your resource into other stuff. I don't know. No. No, Tezzeret, he is substantially medium. And that's fine. Like, he's not supposed to be great. He's not supposed to be great. So, you like the 6-mana Tezzeret gets +1 reveal cards until you find a Torrential Gearhulk? Okay. But I would rather do other things for that. I don't know. Don't you hate on Sorin's converted mana cost? Meh. I don't know. You know what? You all asked me to start giving actual opinions of staying medium. That's where I'm at. Do they need to enforce a modern rotation to allow for more powerful cards to be printed in Standard? No. Wait, hold on. Serious question. Do they need to enforce a modern rotation to allow more powerful cards to be printed in Standard? No. No. I don't think so. I don't think that the two are particularly related. I think that a faster Standard rotation lends to a more powerful modern printings, and they tried that, and they backpedaled way too soon. So, I'm pretty unconvinced on that. I think that they should have given it a whirl. I think that they could have given us powerful cards, and that would have been fine. But I don't think that a modern rotation is what you want at all. Modern exists so that people can buy cards and not have to trade them out. So that they can have a deck, they can not play for a year, they can come back, and the odds are that they can play that deck. That's also why I'm not a big fan of bannings. Because that's not what Modern is about. Modern is about owning a deck and playing the deck. And eventually there will be another format to... yes, the 6-mana Chandra is great. But that doesn't... I mean, the 6-mana Chandra is completely different. I'm saying that if you're telling me that Master of Metal is good because it's exactly the same as Tezzeret and Agent of Bolas, it's not. It just isn't. You don't think power level is what Standard is lacking? I think that a more equal distribution of power level between questions and answers is lacking, but that's a different thing. But, they totally backpedaled. It was way too soon. It was way too soon. Because, I don't know. I get that they tried. They were like, oh no, we introduced this new rotation and Standard became unplayed. People that didn't play it. Yeah, but that's because Standard's just right now. That has nothing to do with how fast it's going to rotate. It's not that we don't want to buy the cards. It's that there's only 6 cards that you really have to buy, and then you can throw whatever garbage into the deck that you want, and great, you're running Gideon. Have a great day. Gideon's amazing. Smuggler's Copter, great. Emrakul, blah. Ishkana, solid. I mean, the fact that all of Standard is based around 7 particular cards, and it doesn't really matter what else that you're doing in your deck, sure. But, like, they have to change something, but that rotation was not it. Boot to the head with the sub! Thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. It seems like it was way behind there, but it still got here all the same. You don't want to buy the... Sure, that's fine, but that's not... I don't think that people not wanting to buy the cards is because the rotation is shorter. It's because the format just rotates it all. A shorter rotation doesn't make it less incentivized to buy cards, in my opinion, because you were buying second and third set cards anyway. You're always doing that. So I don't know. Commons should be as strong as rares, just not as complex. I think that some commons should be as good. I don't think that all cards should be the same power level. I don't think so at all. I think that the big thing is that limited is a true consideration. Sure. That's fine. That's fine. Some of them. But, I just don't know. I don't know. You don't want to buy them because it's boring? Sure, that's fine. Suspend 5. I'm absolute MTG. I'm not honestly convinced that it's because of Emrakul. I think that it's because of Emrakul, Gideon, Smuggler's Copter, Ishkana. Every powerful card in Standard right now is a question. It is a card that requires an answer. And none of the powerful cards are answers. There is no way to answer them playing a Gideon. There's no way to stop the graveyard. There's no way to answer a Planeswalker in any remotely efficient sort of way. There's no way to answer a Smuggler's Copter outside of... I mean, I guess that was fair. Smuggler's Copter is much more answerable, but the card is so ubiquitous that it's played everywhere, so you have to be answering it. And then it's so good that even in the effort of answering it, they've already gotten value out of it. And so you're still not answering it very efficiently because you're either getting mana parity at its worst and you're taking down an artifact. Great. Just, by the way, Absolute MTG, thanks for joining. I feel like I've seen you in our chat before. Maybe I'm wrong, but thank you so much for joining. You do cool things. Anyway, that is where I'm at. Yeah. It's hard to answer at Planeswalker because there's no Searing Spear or Lightning Strikes. Sure. I mean, there's tons of things that could answer it, and you just don't have them. Hero's Downfall would answer it. That'd be a great one. You've been enjoying Frontier. I have not been enjoying Frontier, but I'm actually more... See, so there needs to be better answers. What would be cards I would like to see as ideal answers for the problem cards? Things that would like Scrabbling Claws. It's a bad Relic of Progenitus, but it is close to a Relic of Progenitus. So give me that. Give me Shatter. Give me Shatter. Shatter's a bad, like it's a medium card, but it's playable. Give me Scrabbling Claws. Give me Shatter. Give me Hero's Downfall. Give me, I mean, a Lightning Strike over... Like, Harness Lightning is actually a perfectly designed card, so I don't want to complain about that one. I like Harness Lightning a lot. But give me a decent, like, burn spell. Just a way to apply pressure. I just... Tormod Script? Sure, but you can't have Tormod Script because it's a named card. You can't put it into Standard. It's too tied to a place, and I think that I would rather have a Scrabbling Claws because it's able to just so directly hit it. Just... Something, anything. You don't need Artifact Hate in all the colors. Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle would be a great way to go in. Pithing Needle would be solid. You can name Marvel. You can name Gideon. You can name Nissa. You can name Liliana. You can name Ishkana if you want to get so bold as to dive into stopping them from draining you. Nah. You can use it defensively and name the Scrabbling Claws and keep your graveyard intact. Pithing Needle, Scrabbling Claws, Shatter. Give me those 3 cards. And I won't even demand that I get a Hero's Downfall. Sure. They need to stop designing so far in advance? No, they need to. They need to. Their product gets much worse if they design slower than they currently, or faster than they currently do. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. There are answers for all the proposed cards. The card set answers Emrakul is much more narrow. Sure. And the competitive environment stretch because no one likes getting slavered on turn 4. Oh no, I agree that Standard needs to be better. Those are just my thoughts on things that would be better. I don't at all disagree that Emrakul is a problem. I don't think that it is the problem. I think that the problem, if it was only Emrakul, then you could get around that. The problem is that there's just too much happening and no way to stop it. So, I don't know. I see what you're saying. And Sam Stoddard's poll. I love what Wizards does. I wholeheartedly support their product. I love the Magic game. I, in fact, like Standard, Modern, Legacy, Frontier. Give me any... I mean, I like everything about it. But I will say that it has been a... That poll went brutal, and I saw that skewed in a pretty weird direction to say that there was a lot of positive feedback from that poll. So, that was unfortunate to see. Bring back decent control cards. You don't even need decent control cards. You just need something... You need cards that other decks can run. So, I don't know. That's where I'm at. I'm not sure if I'm going to have any more Standard. I apologize to everybody. I know if you're still watching, thank you so much for the support. That is honestly incredible and amazing, and it means the world to me to have you all here. And I'm happy to keep this conversation going in any kind of way that you'd like. I'm not sure if I'll have any more matches for you, Standard, as we've been talking about it. And I don't mean to be so down-putting to Standard. I don't. I like to be positive, and Standard has a lot of good things going for it right now. So let's talk about that. I mean, you've got the artifacts that are so brew-heavy. You've got the one that allows you to draw 3 cards and play an extra land each turn. You've got the world in which you can, go for Panharmonicon, cool things. Sure, actually, I think you're right. Kaladesh is, I think, one of the best sets that they've made in a long time. But Kaladesh isn't what's producing a lot of the problems that we have. But I completely agree with you. I think that Kaladesh is, on its own, a very, very, very good set. I think that more products that they produce should be close to Kaladesh. The limited environment is fun. The cards that it created were fun. Things that it did were fun. And they were good. Cards that were printed there are seeing light play in some other formats. Obviously not a ton of them because they tend to, energy hasn't really been fully explored yet. And it's a little bit constricted there. But the format is doing cool things. Yay! I like that. That's fun. That's good. That's great. The issue is that I think they are just not doing what they needed to with giving themselves safety valves. There needs to be a safety valve for when they mess up, and they've done this in the past. They gave us Rest in Peace in Grafdigger's Cage when there was the original Innistrad. They gave us each player sacrifices multicolored spells, and they did all kinds of stuff for that when we got into Ravnica, where the spells were only good during the times in which they were good, if that safety valve was lost. They gave us, Back to Nature for Theros, which was a great safety valve just in case Constellation got to be too good. They gave us safety valves. And they were really narrow, but they were powerful against the strategies that they were pushing. And it meant that you could build what you wanted to play, and sometimes, if you got too good, you'd get beat. Sure. Ooh, nice. Might have to go to the store, and if you get back and do Frontier, you'll stream a bit? Awesome, Doro. That's very cool. Everybody, be sure to follow Doro. So, I think that those safety valves were undervalued by Wizards as we headed into the new era of Standard, which we're currently in. And I think that they focused too much on the people who didn't like that they tried Summary Dismissal is not nearly enough a safety valve. That's not a safety valve at all. It's not pointed enough. It's narrow, sure, but it's not nearly as sweeping against it. That sounds pretty fun, Melvin. That sounds pretty fun. So, that's right. I think that they undervalued what those meant. I think that they took too much consideration from the people who said, why can't I play Constellation? Back to Nature was printed. Or, why can't I play, you know, why can't I play, just to toss out more examples, you know, my Grave Crawlers. Why can't I cast those? Because you gave us a Cage and Rest in Peace. And why can't I, you know, go for the full 5-color deck because I've got Shocks and da-da-da-da-da. And just... the point is that those decks did exist. They were there. And sure, you had the people complaining that it felt bad to build the deck that they were pushing and then have it hated out. But they were pushing it, and it was playable, and people did play it. There was Green-Black Constellation, and that deck was good. And people would have to run Back to Nature to hate it out when it got to be too good. That was very, very valuable, because they were able to push the things that they wanted to highlight and not have their entire format into devolving into this giant contest of the things that they liked. Now, that being said, Kaladesh is sweet. Kaladesh is super cool. And I can complain that it doesn't have the hate cards, it doesn't have the narrow answers, but it has so many cool things going for it. It's got so... I mean, Innistrad had a lot of cool things going for it. The mechanics were sweet. Delirium is a mechanic that I would like to see again in the future. So, a lot of cool stuff happening there. This is just me giving some of my opinions. Lego Movie was so good. That was so good. Man, Melvin... you might be, I think that cultural appropriation is the wrong term, but I think that your points are valid. Hallowed Moonlight, while narrow, was a pseudo-answer to Rally and Collected Company. Sure. I think that cultural appropriation is the wrong term. But, I like where your head's at. I like where you're going with this. Does that make, that makes Chandra into Princess Unicorn. Yeah? Or Unikitty. Princess Unikitty. That makes Chandra Princess Unikitty. Oh, yeah, you're 100% right now. I dig this. You're behind it. I'm behind what you're saying. The words that you're saying are accurate to me. So this problem being obvious, affecting LGSs across the country, affecting... what can they do to fix it? That is a great question, Bites in Flight. That is the million-dollar question. What can they do to fix it? It's not going to change for a bit. I don't know. It's hard to. They can't really. I think that if they're going to do it, the answer is bans and standard. And I think the question comes, do we accept that we are going to find ourselves in a situation in which standard might be this way for some time until they can figure out what the design changes are going to be, and maybe they're prepared for that and they made some development changes and they're fully aware of it? Or do you reevaluate your stance on actually doing bans in standard, and instead of them being this, you know, hey, Absolute, thank you so much for the host, that's really kind of you. Do you change your opinion and you say, you know what? There needs to be times in which standard bans happen. And obviously they should not be common, but maybe you just accept that sometimes you're going to make mistakes, and bans exist to fix that problem. And I don't know. The way to do that is not with the power level of commons at all. It's not. It's just by printing cards that are good, but not so good as that they become this constant across all things. You know what? Maybe you just ban Emrakul and Gideon. They're two separate things. They're both completely dominant, and it forces people to, like, go into new restrictions. This is one of the few streams you enjoy watching while editing content. Thank you so much. I take that as a high praise. I really appreciate that. But maybe you just ban Emrakul. Maybe Absolute. Yes, That is the YouTuber Absolute MTG. So thank you so much. Those kind words really do mean a lot, and yeah, thank you. What did we have for going against Sidisi Whip? The fact that the deck wasn't that good. But if you want to get super technical, we had Rest in Peace in the same format. If you're talking about when we had RTR and Theros. Hey, your stuff is nice! Would people still play Marvel with Emrakul? Or without Emrakul? Sure, you get Ulamog as well. And Ulamog is significantly less... Like, you can't just cast Emrakul by... You can only hit it off of that. Hey, the dude, have a good night. I think we're coming up towards the end. I'll do a few more minutes. But, you know, maybe Absolute MTG is absolutely right, and you just wipe out Emrakul. You get rid of it. And, yeah, banning cards from Standard is a bad thing. People will have spent money, and they will no longer have that money. That's still bad. The fact that, I guess, Whip wasn't that good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Rest in Peace was there with Whip. It wasn't the same block, but it was there for a while. And then just, it wasn't that good of a deck in the other part. And the card isn't overly incredible. The Whip was not out whenever... No, it was in for half of it. Because you had it in RTR, so you had RTR Theros, you had Rest in Peace for the entirety of that. And then you had Whip with Cons. And that... Oh, I guess Anafenza actually was still a pretty good answer. Yeah, Anafenza was also pretty good. You won your first PPTQ? Nice. Well done. You know what? I don't think so. I don't think that you want to overban. I don't think that you want to get so activist to eliminate everything, because then you just lose consumer confidence and you lose Rip Whip. Oh man, that is way hard. You lose consumer confidence, and then the Standard format actually goes away if you ban too many cards. Maybe you just slam out Emrakul. Get it out of there. See what happens. Or we wait. Or we wait, and we hope. Who's commenting on Wednesday? Oh, no. Never know. I never know. You all act as if we, like, plan way ahead, and we plan some things, but significantly less than you think. So, we plan so much less than you think, because we're too busy spending time trying to get out everything else that we have in a row. So, we will find out, and, We tried making it, so we actually did used to try and plan this. We used to set up a schedule at the beginning of each week, and we'd say, who's in, let us know, da-da-da-da-da, and no one ever used it. We tried it, we were like, who wants to sign up? No one ever signed up. They would just tell us on the day that they wanted to go on that day. So now that's just what we do. But I think that's going to come towards the end of the stream. I do apologize. This was a really, really short one. Standard's in a rough spot. I'm still really solid. I have a solid understanding of how to view the game through the eyes of Wizards. Hey, thank you. I really appreciate that. I will, Maeve. I will. So Narset, sure. Yeah, it'll be Narset. She'll be here. Maybe not, but she'll be here. Sure, they could, but the problem is that they have to react to this 2 years behind time. So they can't react. They have to have already planned for that. No. I think that they're much more okay with upsetting players than players moving away from the format. And I think that they absolutely need to make that call. I think that my personal vote is that it is the right call to ban something. That's what you need to do. You need to accept that some people hating and some people loving something is so much better than everybody feeling moderate about it. And that is Mark Rosewater's own mentality. And I think that the rest of the company needs to get in line with that. A world in which some people love and some people hate is so much better in a world than a world in which everybody feels like this format is a 4 or a 5. People should be rating this a 9 and a 1 before you ever see people rating it a 5. That's just what it needs to be. I don't know. I don't think that they're bored with the Standard. I don't even... About a stand that doesn't even exist yet? Honestly, they might print cool stuff. Yeah. That's fine. But it's just been good. It's been pretty rough. It's been pretty rough. I mean, K-Marky, you're not wrong. And he was hit pretty bad with that one. You'd rather have a format be a 5 before a 1? But it would be a 1 for you, and it would be a 9 for everyone else. People at least caring enough to have a strong opinion about the format is way more important. And sure, there would be people who think that it's a 5, but you need... I completely disagree. I completely disagree. A situation in which one player loves it and one player hates it is better than where both players think that it's okay. You need to, for a game to be successful and to build communities, you need to have passion, whether that's good or bad. And if the players who think that it's negative at least care enough to think that it needs to be improved and voice that, but when you have a format in which it's so medium that people don't even know how to voice what they don't like about it, you have a really hard time fixing it, and you have a hard time having something that people enjoy. And then everybody finds something else different because nobody loves it. I don't know. I think that I completely disagree with you, Slowly Crashing. But that's just me. That's just me. That's me having an opinion, which Maeve seems to think that I never have one. So I decided to have one tonight. And that's where I'm at. You gotta actually do something. I don't know. A forum in which everyone is mad basically doesn't matter. If people hate it, they talk about it, and that's more important than... And we're getting close to that point, except for the fact that there's so few people that love it. So, there we are. There we are. Let's take a look at who else is out in the world streaming so that we can host on over to them. My opinion is... I think that you are looking at a pretty narrow sample size, Maeve. I have plenty of opinions. Alright, who we got here? Who we got? The format was okay a month and a half ago. You attended 4 consecutive PPTQs on Saturdays for a month, and each meta was entirely different and fine. Sure. Sure. I guess I get that. It's the idea of any news is good news, no news is bad news. Sure, sure. Monday, Wednesday, Modern Wednesday, just around the corner. Just around the corner. Yeah, but let's see what we can do. I see that, you know what, actually, let's go with Card Kingdom. Let's go ahead and go with Card Kingdom. They are our neighbors to the south. Nice bunch. And let's go ahead and just have some fun with that one. So we're going to host on over to Card Kingdom. Be sure to say hi to them for us. They're a nice bunch. They're just about 45 minutes down to the south of us. And they're another live stream, so it's always nice to help them out. But I'm going to call it a night. No more standard. We talked about some fun things. I'm sure I upset some people. I don't think I upset. I don't think that my opinions are worth being upset about. Probably not. I'm sure that I had some people disagree with me. Maybe I had some people agree with me. Maybe I convinced some people on some things. Some people convinced me on some other stuff. And hopefully, if nothing else, we at least had some interesting conversation. But thank you, everybody. If this is something that you'd like to do more in the future, you sent me the message. Of course I'm going to look at the deck list, Maeve. If something of just this conversational bit is something that you'd like to see more of, let me know on Twitter, @RedBaronMTG. If you just enjoy watching the magic and getting some of this live bit, be sure to hit follow on that stream. If you want to help support the monetary part of this stream, always feel free to hit that subscribe. Take it easy and hold fast to your opinions. Hey, thank you so much, Absolute. I hope you have a good night. Enjoy your editing. I look forward to hopefully seeing you more in the future. But from all of us here at Geek Fortress, located in Snohomish, Washington, whether it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, I hope it's amazing. I hope it's incredible. And I hope to see you next time, Wednesday at 7 o'clock Pacific time, for some Modern. Have a good night, everybody. Click.